some players early on here, and it only comes down to Osias. Realistically, it might not be the best idea for him to try to attempt a clutch. Probably just better off to save that weapon, because your money's going to be a little bit out of whack just because he's not exactly in the same pattern as the rest of his teammates. Again, stingers across the board, bulldogs, that is very much a yard sale by pretty much to the definition. A quick push in over towards C, and Teal Team will try to make up for this innate disadvantage that they have, and they're doing a pretty damn good job of it. Looking to get the spike down early, Bood will only find 1 kill for his trouble, but otherwise it will be red in the kill feed. And that is a really great sign for Teal Team.
Yeah, and it should be an upgrade as well. There's a Phantom down on the side, and it was a stinger in the hands of Arctic. Now the drone comes out. There's a flank coming on through, and it's all up to Bossy, who was lurking out towards mid, trying to catch somebody doing something spicy. Unfortunately, his team fell victim to a lurk themselves, and again, in the same situation, not an incredibly winnable round as you're running out of time, but at the very least, Bossy can look to hurt some of the economy here for Teal Team, who are now starting to grow a very strong lead. And just like we said, Ito, it's the attacking side where the aggression pays off immensely, and now it's going to be another save for Take Flyte.
That was so unfortunate. I think that was Take Flight's best position to get back into this game and really kind of show their stuff. You know, they had, again, that innate advantage because they had the better weapons in that situation. That's been completely shattered. And yes, another thing that you mentioned is that they're going to be on this weaker bye. I'm wondering at this point, you know, judging by how I've seen Big Frames play in the past, Nerfed, I'm not sure if he's going to be the one calling, but I would imagine like a stack or something might be in the best interest of the defenders. But right now, they're just kind of defaulting, looking for fights. As you see, there's a push down from Nerfed in particular, down mid. And the first kill will actually go the way of the Frenzy, or excuse me, the Sheriff. The second one, not courtesy of the Frenzy, as Tyrell has now added a couple of more kills to his pretty dismal amount compared to the rest of his teammates.
Now Arctic has to get out of dodge. Those shock darts right on top of him. Things are even in manpower. Unfortunately, you can't say the same. And as I say that, Nerfed will fall to 7. Bood once more on an eco round. Just going to try and do some damage to the economy. They've done a bit, but not necessarily enough, especially not to find a round win. So the Sheriffs fall flat once more for Take Flight. And Teal Team push themselves to double digits. Things are getting a little spicy. I will say I'm very, very impressed by Teal Team right now. It was Tyrell to do so much. He falls a little flat in this game, and the rest of the team comes up so huge around him. And now they're looking to close things out just as they were served on Icebox in 13-6 fashion. It's only a couple more wins they need.
And I think Tyrell, you know, kills... I think it can be deceiving in this fashion because he's had a lot of fantastic positions, and also he's bringing a lot with these cyber cages and these tripwires. Sure, maybe he doesn't have the most kills on the server, especially compared to the other Cypher on the side of Take Flight, but I'm still proud of how he's been doing. It's not that superstar performance that we saw against Team Serenity, but at least he's holding the line, doing well, and hey, as he also mentioned, the rest of his team is doing the job perfectly fine. Osias gets the opener, and Teal Team, that, God, I still want to keep on saying Seal Team. That is going to mess with me time and time again. But look, I'm going to have to make sure to get their name correctly because they are winning a lot, and I need to be saying it a whole lot. And execute in over towards A, Tanner. And I think this is going to be the final destination for them as well.
And we do need to take into consideration that this was the map pick from Take Flight. It's not done just yet, but it is seeming to swing heavily in favor of Teal Team as they get that spike down. All 5 members still alive, and Take Flight on the back foot once more, looking for a retake, and Osias is on the flank. He's making sure that that retake cannot happen. Another kill to come through, but it's Bood to finally sit him down. Now Denya gonna try and do his darndest to help out his Cypher, and in a 2v4, they're looking to save, and they should be able to do just that. Cypher v Cypher. Tyrell once more falls flat. Now Take Flight searching for exits as their economy is in arguably one of the worst places possible, and they are 1 round away from being forced to match point.
Yeah, stuck between a rock and a hard place. That is to say the very least. I think right there is actually a pretty good example of what I'm talking about. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Okay, no matter. They still at least hold on to one of these guns, Bood getting a 3K on his way through. But I think that is a pretty good example of what I'm talking about regarding Tyrell. He had a really strong position there, just unfortunately not able to win the fight because I think it was Bood was actually expecting the double flank. Osias was the one kind of stealing all the glory with that flank position, shutting down any attempt at a retake, but Tyrell had the right idea too. You know, going for a double flank like that, it's a very strong position, it just didn't pan out. Things like that, I mean, Teal seems still have fail-safes in case things go wrong, and that is making a huge difference. It's what's gotten them to 11 rounds so far, and it's what I would imagine might get them to 12. Look at this, though, from the attacking forces. They are sitting in their own spawn. They are expecting something way, way too aggressive from Take Flight, but they're not budging. What is it? It's like they're AFK. What is this? They're just sitting there.
Yeah, it's hard because they're expecting aggression, and now they're slowing things down. Teal Team are forcing them to play their play style, and Bones to be the benefactor of the first kill. It works out so perfectly. Now a man down once more as Take Flight, and Haven is Teal Team's oyster. They can go wherever they need.
Oh, man. It really is their oyster, Tanner. You said it best. I mean, it looks a little bit goofy when they're all sitting in their spawn, but you cannot deny the effects that it had. They can push into C basically free of charge. Bood can't do anything but hope that he gets a miracle play, but that's a problem with trying to contest before a retake comes through with the rest of your team. It's just not going to happen a lot of the time. You need to be miraculous. Tyrell, again, with a really strong position. Let's see if he can show up this time, Tanner.
It needs to do just that against the Knives. Able to get the kill through the wall. The headshot lands true. Now the neural theft comes out. Everybody now going to be spotted out. The remaining two have nowhere to go. They're going to be corralled to the back of the site. Nerf able to find one kill. It's low health bars, but Simple is low himself. He's got that Guardian in hand, and it should only take a one tap 3 times to find this round win, but Tyrell looking to come up huge, just runs around the corner, and to top it off, it's Bones with the 4K and Bones with the classic.
Match point.
Beautiful round from Bones, but everybody has done their due part. I'm loving how Teal Team are looking at the moment. I'm not 100% certain who is calling for them, but whoever is, big props. They are reading a lot of these situations so well. Again, I think the pace change was one of the more notable examples, but it's been happening throughout this entire game. Just really good reads on what to do in these scenarios. But it was just great. I mean, unfortunately, Bossy was just not prepared for the fact that, hey, they're still in their own spawn where they buy guns. Watch out for that. Now it's going to have to be Take Flight who have to go ahead and do a little bit of the busy work, some of the brainstorming. And what they've come up with is an aggro play, Simple, stuck with a judge in the cubby of C. But look at this. I think Teal Team have another good read on the scenario. They've once again gone back to their passive ways, not leaving their spawn once more. So what I'm going to be keeping my eye out for here, is at what point do Take Flight start getting aggressive? Do they even bother? Or do they just keep holding these corners? Right now I'm watching to see, have they learned from their mistakes?
Teal Team go right back to it. Trying to see what they can bait on out here. It is going to be the Knives activated for Bones. So worst case scenario, he'll have the shotgun-esque. And yeah, Take Flight. They do learn quickly. Unfortunately, in a bad spot here as the judge goes wide. Osias to take the double take, but he gets it done. Now they open up this C site. Bood's able to get one, but 7 goes good for 2. C site completely opened wide, and it's all up to the duelist here. Teal Team looking to close things out in game number 1 in 13-6 fashion as Bossy tosses out the Empress and some spray through the smoke. Denya creeps on up and has taken point on this site, but will creep away for now. It's a 2v4, and they have to go for it. They're playing against the clock, and they don't have a whole lot of time. And who other than Tyrell on the flank once more is going to get spotted out, but it doesn't matter. Now Denya has to go huge. He's got to find 3 kills, and he just doesn't have the time. Teal Team are able to get it done in game number 1 on Haven in a very dominant fashion on a Take Flight map pick.
And they look beautiful while doing it. Again, some incredible mid-round calling. Tyrell, again, I think that's exactly what I've been mentioning. He doesn't even find the kill there, but he acts as this anchor. He's basically saying, like, you shall not pass. There is nothing he can realistically do. The poor, unfortunate soul of Denya. He does collect the kill, sure, but now they're going to be completely aware of if you try to push Garage. There are so many fail-safes that Team Teal, gosh, Teal Seam had in effect, and it's suffocating to play against, quite honestly. If I had to choose one MVP for this map, it has to be Osias, but Arctic, I think as well, with the assists, you can tell both of them were at the we're the leaders of it, and it's not hard to exactly see how much impact they had. So many wonderful rounds from both sides, but I have to say, this is a very dominant, a very beautiful looking Teal Seam, and I cannot wait for map number 2, Tanner.
Yeah, this again, just, I mean, I hate to hammer on this, but it was a take Flyte map pick,
right?
And Teal Team just went off 13-6. Now we're going to be jumping over to Ascent, and that's Teal Team's map pick, so they should be feeling pretty good about it coming into it. They just came off a victory in that last series in game number 3, feeling incredibly good. This team, man, the aggression just seems unmatched as a whole, and it pays off so well. I think the defensive side of things does get a little shaky, but obviously that's kind of to be expected when you can't play too aggressive on defense, especially when you've got ciphers, especially when you've got killjoys in the games, right? We haven't seen a team composition that has been Sentinel-less in this entire tournament. Nobody running the triple duelist, but then the attacking side.
Here,
yeah, exactly. No TSM strats coming out, and the attacking side is where they really come online. The one thing, I guess, before jumping into a break is I am very excited to see that both of these teams were coming out so strong, especially in that first half where it wasn't what we were seeing yesterday, where one of two teams would fall a little flat in the early game and then start to pick it up. They were just coming out, firing, guns blazing right out the gate, and it ends up leading to a Teal Seam Game 1 victory. Now, remind you guys, so we've got a handful of Valorant still in play. We are going to jump away to a quick break, but when we come back, we will see if Take Flyte can soar to new heights on Ascent. Jumping right back into it after a short break. Both of these teams chomping at the bit once more to jump right back in. Teal Team looking incredibly strong, taking a 13-6 victory in Haven over Take Flyte. My name's still Tanner Metro. I am still joined by Ito, although we have been switching some things up on you guys. Things will remain consistent all the way throughout. Now, with that being said, that was, I guess, as a caster, your first look at both of these teams. My first look at Take Flyte. And Teal Team, I mean, it seems unmatched. Even in the close series against Team Serenity, right? It was the X Factor and Icebox that really gave them that loss. But then outside of that, the aggression, absolutely huge. And we jump into this one with Take Flyte. Game number 1, it's Take Flyte's map, and they're completely caught off guard. I mean, how are you feeling about your first-ish impression again on these teams?
I really am loving it. Again, it's just incredible reads by, I think I got it confirmed sometime during the break that Osias was calling. Osias has been incredible. I mean, quite honestly, I'm just loving the mid-round calls in particular. Not even it's the mid-round calls. That's something I think that I maybe give a little too much attention. It's what they do early on in these rounds. Again, most notable, it was when they basically sat in their spawn and literally were just waiting for somebody to push them. But in other cases, it was, you know, the full fake over and then sending it over towards B. I think they did that in one of the earlier rounds when they're on the attacking side. But, you know, I'm saying all this praise about Teal Team. At the same time, I want to say Take Flyte had some great calls as well. They had some incredible set plays, as you saw on their attacking side, where they used their teleporter, quickly canceled it, then ran over towards C when they sent rotators over. It's small little things like that. It's really cool big brain plays that will make the difference in this series, and it's what made Take Flyte so competitive on map number 1. Heading into Sent, it does seem really good for Teal Team. Not only are they riding that wave of momentum after winning Haven, but they also have a pretty good track record on it, Tanner.
They do have that. Yeah, Ascent has been one, especially we just came off of it, right? Where they grab a victory. Right. It wasn't, 13-6 fashion, but it was still a pretty definitive victory. And it was aggression that came out on top of it all. It did feel weird at first. And I wonder if we're going to see some changes coming into this one where Teal Team were kind of just running in towards B site and trying to lock it down. And the aggression wasn't really paying off in their favor. Eventually, they started to figure it on out. And now, hopefully, some changes have been made. This would be an upset, just like we saw in the first one, should Take Flyte take this map. So I'm tossing my pseudo prediction over to Teal Team. But honestly, anything can happen. And I think Ascent being one of the most contested maps or equalized maps as a whole throughout the Valorant scene. Now, it is a creep up to read towards this B site, and yeah, they're actually going for the orb. Turret gonna stop that push from coming on through it. I'm not too sure if he was actually able to pick that up. Either way, not able to make it out is Tyrell. That ult orb matters no longer. Now with that kill over towards B, it's a push on to A and a full rotate to come through.
I think it was more so than the ult orb. They had 4 people at B ready to push B main. That right there is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm mentioning those early round decisions. And you're going to see it come into play just in round number 1 of this. However, they only have 1 man to the good. They still need to try to close this gap, and that's going to prove to be a little bit difficult, Tanner. 2 kills go the way of Take Flyte, but they're bleeding internally, they're hurting. And hey, maybe it doesn't matter at all. They're still finding these kills. Arctic has to do it all by himself, but I don't think he has even a chance in the world of doing this. Nerf, the veteran, the former Big Frames player, will go ahead and collect the first round in the favor of Take Flyte. But why I thought that was so good is because Teal Team, although they had a really great advantage going for them to start things out, it was another great push from Take Flyte. They quickly realized what was up, and despite losing a player early to that attempt to try to grab the ult orb, they full sent it over towards A, and they kept one lurking by catwalk. They had a lot of hope that nobody was going to prod mid, and that's a gamble that sometimes you have to take. Now, heading into the second round, how do they abuse it again? They're not giving all too much emphasis over towards B, but they are going over towards mid. Beautiful harmony of an Ares.
Yep. It's actually been a while since we've seen that strategy kind of busted out, trying to spray down through that B main wall. That one kind of fell by the wayside as everybody was starting to do it, so it kind of pushed everybody away from wanting to push B main. Nice and early. Now we do see a bit of mid aggression. It was Bones in the last series to play up towards mid, one of very few, and it's Bossy to find a spray down onto 2. The Spectre getting it done there. The Arsenal isn't the best on the opposite side. As I say that, Tyrell has a Spectre in his hands, and he's trying to get it done. Unfortunately, pushing on means he dies in Arctic. The youngster needs to come up huge. It's a stinger, it's the door closed, and it's a 2v1. He will get sprayed down, and the force does not pay off, and we will just have to see how Teal Team decide to manage their economy moving forward.
Beautiful again from Take Flight. It just reminds me a lot of what I mentioned in the pistol. Just read again. I don't think that's anything all too crazy. That is just how you take care of pistols. The thing is, that was still a pretty notable attempt. I mean, they did buy up even a decent amount. You just wouldn't be able to tell. They did have the stingers in play. So for round number 3, they're not going to be able to piece together a buy here. And it's not even that yard sale buy. It's a straight up a poverty buy. I mean, they only have pistols to name, or to their name, excuse me. And so realistically, I'm not 100% certain what you can expect out of this. They aren't going for anything all too crazy, just seem to be defaulting out. What I'm expecting to see out of here from Take Flight is, well, back up, let the fights come to you. Something they have utilized a lot in the past. Why not go ahead and try to rerun that same record once more?
And they've got the information that they're running these sheriffs. Everybody just shooting through the walls, trying to down some of that utility coming on through from this Sova. So they know they do need to be a little careful, but at the end of the day, like you said, they just need them to come right to them, and it is going to be that firing squad over towards Catwalk. A couple of kills traded between 2 players, looking for another. It's Nerf to get it as they run him down, and Denya to close it out. It was flawless, and it was another save. That's what forcing does to your economy. Now round number 4, we're going to get to see some rifles coming in, but it's still not a guaranteed victory. I was assuming we would see aggression on attack coming out from Teal Team and that it would work in their favor. The first 3 rounds it's fallen flat, but this is going to be the real decider, or what's going to give us that information as to whether or not they've got it or they don't.
The clean peaks are really going to matter here. No, I cannot deny that. Take Flight. Now we just have to see how they handle this issue. Tyrell tossing the turret up on top. So that's going to go ahead and watch for any aggression towards Catwalk. Doesn't seem to be budging. There's 2 players actually at the top of mid who will be watching even better. And Osias, 2 beautiful shots to start things out here. So nasty. And I mean, it's something that you said on Haven, but the map really is their kind of their oyster right now. They have it all to themselves, so they can just push wherever they want, no questions asked. Simple will have to pull off a god tier play to actually have anything to say otherwise, and indeed he is pulling it off. 3 kills on the corner, and that is huge. Suddenly it's a 2v2 Tanner.
And Osias needs to be careful. On the flank is nerfed, and it's the stinger still in hand. Now 7 has been clutched before, needs to do it once more. The flash comes out, he gets the spray down, and the clutch comes through. A huge round, a pivotal round for Teal Team, and they get it done.
Very concerning one at that. I mean, that was a bit of a bonus. You have to keep that one in mind. The fact that they got that much work done with the Ares in the corner. The first one, you know, that makes sense. You know, you weren't checking that cubby. That's totally fine. But the second and most definitely the third, those were unbelievable. It is going to be those solo plays that really do make a difference in some pivotal rounds like this. And that is no exception. Regardless, though, of their best antics, Teal Team will still take away the win, and you're starting to see a little bit more of that solo effort come through. Boss using the run it back, will not find anything of note, and it'll actually be Bones with the knives, not find 1, but dice up 2.
Joke's over. You're dead.
And it was an aggressive push through A main to find that spawn point for the run it back. And speaking of aggression, we've got 7 pushing on up. He gets the kill before being sent back. Teal Team are coming online now that they have the arsenal to do so. And all of it kicked off by a 2K from Bones. I talked about the knives falling flat, but they are sharpened here in this one. And now the remaining 2, the economy's A-okay. They might look to save here in the 2v5. And Simple just trying to creep on towards mid.
Oh, it's the advanced positioning again. And as you mentioned, yeah, they basically do have to save. There is no way at all they're going to be able to try to sneak away with this round. Teal Team, beautiful response to that aggressive run it back play. Oh, okay, nice consolation
my-
frags at the end. I respect that. But Bones, you know, that is probably one of the better knife plays that I think we have seen this entire event, isn't it, Tanner? Going through perfect reply to Bossy. That is just a really great read on the situation. I feel like I'm going to be saying that numerous times, but as long as it rings true, I'm going to be saying it until the sun comes up. It's just, again, a great response when they hear Bossy use to run it back. They see a flash come through. Okay, pop knives, dash in. There's probably not going to be someone having his back, and if so, we're going to dash right past him and camp the body. It's risky, mind you, but it worked out perfectly. You need to take gambles like that if you want to try to eke out a lead, and this is going to be no exception. Simple. That is a lead that he wanted to eke out. He barely gets away with his life. He could have nearly been a victim of the classic, but they'll concede all that B control and take flight. Now it's going to be one of those interesting mid-round calls that I mentioned previously. They're pivoting the bomb back over to the A bomb site.
Bossy, though, still postured aggressively over towards A main, so should be able to spot anybody coming out and maybe deters a push should he be able to find a kill. He's probably going to find 4 players. Now that smoke, to make sure that doesn't happen. He'll get that audio cue on the alt orb and head on back towards that site. A bit of information that possibly they're still hovering around over towards this A site, especially a bit later. And now all of the information to come through, but that Hunter's Fury gonna look to sit the lockdown down. That does take that one away. The ultimate onto the top of heaven. Osias gets a bit of information that one member is up top, but they still have yet to push onto the site. 30 seconds to work with as Bones finds the first kill. Things not completely opened up, but have been slowed down for a moment. Bossy still alive to find one. Arctic trades it back, and it's Teal Team once more to find themselves in the advantage as the alarm bot gets some extra information on top of it all. Finally, this starts to play out in favor of Teal Team. It was slow. It was the game of rotations. But now they need to hold it down here in the post plant. 3 corralled on site, just around that heaven area. And Osias hanging out offside. Osias has been the top frag, especially in that last game, was up top on the scoreboard, looking to possibly do the same and take flight. I don't know what they can do here. They're going for it. They're trying to run it on in. Tyrell, though, going to close out Denya. The knives will fall, and there's not much you can do. No answer on this A side as Teal Team grab another.
I respect the attempt, but that just felt way too optimistic. Think about how much that cost them. 4 ultimates used for the round that they won. Sure, that's expensive, but Teal Team at least win it. But they had to use 3 on the opposing side of Take Flight. And it doesn't really work out to much. Actually, wait, no, excuse me. They only used 2. They used the Hunter's Fury and the knives. But they also gave up an operator. It's a very expensive L for them to take. I'm really not too confident, and I'm not 100% certain if that was the right call in that situation, but, you know, I respect it. I respect the cojones that they have to try to make a 3v4 retake work like that, especially since they have pretty good luck with it. But hey, it's a new round, and it's going to be green pastures for them as they have rifles to buy up into this next one. But already the A take has begun, Tanner, and I need to toss it back over to you because it looks like we're already heading into the retake.
Yeah, we're getting right on into the combat as that alarm bot goes through. The door should be taken down in the blaze wall. It's a bit of value to keep Bossy alive for a moment longer. We're in the same exact position we were in before, with 3 on the site and 1 playing off. Hot hands go out. Nice hot hands on top of it all. Is able to clear out. Now 3 underneath heaven in a pretty bad spot. Hunter's Fury off this site, trying to do what they can. Nerf gonna find the first kill. Nerf gonna take a bit of damage for it though. But is that enough to win the round for Teal Team? It's looking like it. As red goes good for 2, red goes good for 4. Bones and Tyrell lock it down on A site.
It's just unbelievable. Every time I see Take Flight get off to such a good start, they're just dismantled. That double fake again to bait out the Hunter's Fury. It wasn't even to bait it out, it was just to take a shot. That way they could confirm a kill. It's still not going to be good enough. They get ruined by that, what's it called? Excuse me, the crossfire that was under heaven on A. Just beautiful positions taken by Teal Team. It's making all the difference. I feel like a broken record, but really, they are surprising me round after round. Take Flight, they're angry, and I think with this newfound anger, they need to do something really, really optimistic. They need to do something really cute with it. And my lord, that is one hell of a start. Simple, too. We'll try to fight back, but it's going to be all for naught. The site is given up, and most certainly the round, considering really, Take Flyte don't have much to work with.
What a start to that round. It was the dash on into the site, the awkward exchange, and then Simple battling back with just a sheriff to his name, picking up a couple of kills. Now, the lockdown comes through. Should be able to push the defenders away momentarily, and this is a good time to buy some time with that ultimate. Nerf trying to do what he can. Make sure nobody gonna be able to peek over from Market. It's a Bucky in hand. It's a Phantom for Bossy as he comes on through. He's able to get one. Shrouded step onto the side. The Bucky trying to close the range. They're trying to trade the kills, and it's Bossy to close it out. This one does not disappoint, and we are possibly tied up once more. The clutch comes through, and it's a thrifty victory.
0.88 left on the clock, mind you. That was a sub-second win right there. And what a massive one. It's thrifty as well, just star-studded. Quite honestly, the round that Take Flyte needed to pull that one together and pull this round, or excuse me, pull this score up until it's nice even marks. Look at this from Bossy towards the end. I'm glad that we have a replay for it. Finding both kills was huge here, but I have to say, big shout out to those flashes that he tossed out as well. Those are great just to back them up in towards the back of Boathouse, excuse me. Take Flyte, again, as I mentioned, a much needed round, but there's no real different way that they're approaching this one here, other than giving a little bit more love towards mid, where Bossy will be using his ultimate and finding a quick demise. Sent back to his body, things stay even.
Things do even. He will now be armorless though, so it hurts a little bit. I do appreciate Take Flyte trying to mix things up, right? No longer sending that run it back out towards a main, trying to get it down towards mid. And I don't blame you. There hasn't been a whole lot of love out towards mid this entire game. I think for the entirety of every series we've seen come to us, and it's been kind of slow, but slow is not a term you use when defining Denya as he dashes away after finding a kill. Bones is able to trade it back, so the Jets are on the board, but nerfed with the peak. A beautiful trade kill there. Will smoke on out and try and escape, but Tyrell, he's got him lined up, and he takes him down. This Killjoy can't be stopped, and he's showing up here in this one. Now in a 3v3, the odds have been evened, and the spike is on the rotate.
And that was so big as well, because unfortunately Nerf didn't wait for that smoke to fully plume before he teleported, so his ending position was telegraphed, and it was an easy spray down for Tyrell. Nerf had such a great position, but it's all going to be for naught. At least they're going to be able to exact revenge. Tyrell, he goes down, but there's really not much time for them to work with otherwise. TLC need to push in, but they're not going to have the time! Simple finishes the job! And what now apparently Nerf couldn't do, Simple most definitely can. Double digits and Take Flyte up to 5. Huge round from Simple and Nerf respectively, even if Tyrell tried his hardest to make that one go the other way.
Yeah, that is, it's the first lead that we've seen in a minute for Take Flyte, right? It was 4 rounds in a row. Teal team grabbing themselves a lead, but now has since been given back over, and this worries me. We're inching closer to the half, and attacking side is where I expected Teal team to come out on top. Hopefully they can have that stalwart defense. They want to keep on moving things forward in their favor, but for now, Spike hanging out over towards B. That alt orb is going to be picked up, and Simple holding down on this B site has been incredible. The multi-kills in the most spectacular fashions as Bones takes a bit of damage, forced away, and the push will be deterred momentarily.
Not quite on the Western front. We're seeing, again, a little bit more love given towards B. I don't think A is their final destination. No? Okay, never mind. They're bringing the bomb over. I was expecting this to be a fake and then just try to bring it towards B, but I'm not 100% sure what information they have to want to end it here, but well, it doesn't seem all too favorable. Take Flyte are more than prepped for this situation. 3 players will be at the ready. I believe there's a Paranoia available for Nerfed as well. Blade Storm in, and here comes the fall, Tanner.
And Paranoia is going to be traded back and forth. Denya not able to find the shots there. No kill to be had, but as I say that, Bone's going to walk right back into the crosshair. Now A is not seeming so juicy. As a teleport to the back of the site, the turret is still up, so he knows Boot is close, and Boot is a lot closer than he was expecting. Not only is that Omen dead, but the spike is down in the back of Boathouse, And Teal Seam, you're running out of time. They have to just full send now. Arctic looking to get on the side. Shots from behind. No time to plant any longer. Just have to try and frag out. And they're not going to be able to do just that. 7 goes good for another onto Nerf. And to close things out, Arctic grabs one. But Teal Seam, they were just as confused as you were as to what they were doing in that one, Ito.
It just felt like they didn't exactly have a full-on direction. Like, I understand, don't get me wrong, I comprehend what they were doing there, but again, it felt a little bit optimistic what they're trying to pull off there. They're really banking on that kind of half-assed fake that they pulled over towards A to really finish the job, but they threw in their jet, they popped the Blade Storm, and then they had like a couple of other players shooting bullets. But then they just sent their spike there, and you know, there's probably going to be a Killjoy still at the other side. They're probably still going to have an anchor there. I don't know. I mean, we have the benefit of hindsight. We're able to judge this from a, from a vacuum. But with hindsight being 2020, that didn't look all too pretty, and probably one of the more notable fumbles we have seen from Teal Seam so far. No matter though, they look to rebound and unfortunately don't seem to have the best start to it. Arctic will find a trade, and Bones might be able to do the same onto the Opper, but surely this is going to be a swift death for him too. There you have it. 3v3 Tanner. Still anybody's round, but I have to give a little bit of an edge over to Teal Seam after finding that kill.
Player standing.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got to give him a huge edge. 7 comes up huge at the run it back. You can't ask for much more. And now Bood is going to get one banged, peeking onto the site. His Grape will get popped, and Tyrell coming out the Alpha KJ in that round. Now, we're at the last round of the half, and I thinking that Teal Seam finally had Take Flight's number here on Ascent, and that hasn't been the case. Things looking to be incredibly even going into the half. And it doesn't get much better for this for both of these teams. It's a full buy across the board. Arctic gonna flex out that Odin, whereas Denya will have the operator peeking down towards mid, and a huge round to pick up for Teal Seam before going into defense.
I really think they should be trying to defend this ult orb as well.
Run.
Only one away from being able to get the Hunter's Fury, and unfortunately Simple isn't able to build it up in time, and that lockdown comes through. This is going to be the perfect catalyst, the perfect engine for them to push right in over towards B, but keep in mind, so what? Boot actually gets that one through the smoke? We'll talk about all this strategy later. The push has already begun, Tanner.
And right onto the site they go, the spike to get planted as well. Low HP though. On that Silva, 7's able to get one back through the wall. They call it out. They say he's logs, and they get it done through Switch, and they just continue to get it done. It's back and forth, but nerfed. The last man standing.
Hunter's Fury now, really? So PM. I love it.
I'm not sure what they were expecting to get out of that one. Recon Bolt is going to get the information that they need, and 7's going to get the spray down once more. Through the wall, he gets it done. And we go into the half 6-6.
That is unbelievable. What a sick round from 7. And Boot even had like the miracle kill to start it off too, Tanner. Oh, everything you would imagine goes their way, excuse me, but no. Apparently at the very end, you'll just get surprised by the attackers. Now swapping things up, it will be now Take Flight who will be the aggressors in this situation. And Teal Seam, they have been phenomenal so far. It's all evened up, all squared away at 6-6. But I don't have any real big expectations here. I don't know what to expect. I haven't done all my homework on how these teams like to play on Ascent. But what predictions do you have? Because right now I can tell you, at the very least, you like the idea of the B-bomb site.
It's looking like it. It's aggression matched with aggression, but 7's going to find the first, 7's going to find the second. The frenzy comes in huge, and Arctic is able to get one on top of it all. It's all melted down to this. It was nerfed, but he is no longer. That pistol round comes in the blink of an eye. It flashed, it was over, and it's TS on top.
It was so quick. Indeed, it was a blistering pace, but there's already so much that you can appreciate from the defenders on that side. What TS did, traded off of each other perfectly. It's something they've done time and time again in this series, and I'm glad to see they brought it in full force for this pistol round. Other than that, it was nothing too unique. Take Flight just really tried hedging their bets that a rush towards B would work, they just weren't quite ready for 7 already being at their doorstep, knocking on their door. And look, he's going to be doing the same this time around too. Only Bones is going to be this time the one knocking, and he is the one who knocks. That is for sure. I'm stealing a line from Breaking Bad, but right now, he's stealing all the kills from everybody on his team. That is gorgeous. As now, the round will be cleaned up. I don't even have a chance to toss it over to you. The round is already done. 6-8. Teal team are looking absolutely incredible. I understand what they're up against. It was only pistols, but my God, when you look that good against pistols, you can tell that these are going to be some nasty rifle rounds.
Yeah, that judge, it's been a sneaky one. Bones mainly using that one in these tighter corners. It was either on the jet, on the raise, whatever it may be, just making it look easy. Sure, he was shooting the legs a little bit, but hey, that's all that matters. And now he's looking to do, looking to do the same thing, right? Flash on out, see if they can get some info, and push on up with the judge. I'm happy to see the jet plays over towards A main. Unfortunately for Teal team, it's not going to work out in their favor just yet. And for Take Flyte, they find themselves on their first rifle round. So now we get into the nitty gritty of what this game has to offer, because it was back and forth until the half. It was 6-6 at the half, and the pistol and one other round kind of goes the opposite way, especially when you're not forcing out. They spot out the rifles, and Bossy gets 2. What a spray down, and what a way to open up your first rifle in the second half.
They needed that. So beautifully played from Bossy. He read the fact that they were not going to be doing that one-way smoke again, so maybe they're going to get a little bit too big for their britches. They're going to try pushing their luck, but no, Bossy is there ready, and this time he's even more ready with still a double flash in play. Tanner, he's not done with his carnage yet. He gets 3 before he's eventually put into a grave, but Denya will pick up exactly where he left off, picking up number 4. And my lord, can we count to 5? The answer is going to be yes. Denya, he finds number 5, a 2K for him as well. The duelist doing all the work, and TF right back into this game will strike back and keep things just about even. Again, a beautiful execute from Take Flyte. They didn't even need to make it beautiful because they already found those 2 kills. Huge read from Bossy to stay over towards A main and wait for the push to come to him. That was so phenomenal because, again, I mean, that one-way smoke is so dangerous. You can't realistically contest it until it's already faded. That is not a mistake that they're probably going to make twice, Teal team. So watch out to see how they respond to it next time around. That one-way smoke is indeed through once more, however. Okay, never mind. Arctic already found a kill. How the hell?
Hey, some way, somehow, those Zoomers get it done, and now things are starting to look back upwards. So it was a bonus round, essentially, for Take Flyte, as it was just some extra SMGs that Teal team had. Now we're seeing both of the arsenals being completely matched, and a bit of information over towards mid. A spike is yet to be picked up, and we do still have Tyrell hanging out over towards that B site, just in case, as Denya dodges out on the paranoia. Should be able to push on through the smoke. Should he do so? Should be able to get some information, maybe some kills. Denya gonna get it done onto Osias, and Simple to back him up. Now A site looking to be opened up, and it's Bossy with the run it back. 7 unfortunately goes down. Bossy will take this site with the rest of his team. Nerf gonna get the plant, and now a 3v2 for Teal team. It started off a man up, and now they find themselves a man down.
Still attempting this retake, though. Have to respect it. Tanner, this action isn't done yet. Arctic, he's trying to find if he can get a free kill. Look at this, he can't even believe his luck. He'll be dancing around, find the head of one, but the trade will be through from Simple. Of course, it's Simple clutching it up. Who else but him, quite honestly. Take Flyte, even things up now officially. And hey, I think right now their headlines look even more positive. Not only have they evened this up, but they have a real great chance to take the lead. Take a gander at the bottom side of this scoreboard. The money is not there at all from Teal team. They'll be able to put together a decent amount of pistols, mind you, and Bones, I suppose, could pop that Blade Storm. Wouldn't exactly be the worst idea in the world. This is going to be a flash play over towards A main. Look at this. Osias already has a paranoia ready. There's paranoia, and there's a dash play on through, and he's taken down! That's unbelievable! The counterplay from Bossy has been on point this entire attacking side. A main is his. Give it up.
Yeah, that is a scary place to be there. You thought you're going to make a huge play rather, with the blades.
So cool.
And unfortunately, you fall flat. It was the paranoia on top of it all. So that's utility down. And now the protect the president game, right? Where nobody can push up to grab that Vandal because they were defending it. Everybody rotating on over to B. Should there be a lurk, we might see somebody go to look and grab that weapon. But in the 4v4, Take Flyte have a whole lot of control as they look to push onto this B site.
It's going to be happening soon as well, mind you. Tyrell might get a nice shot or two. He's basically going to be playing off the contact of his turret, I would imagine. There's a drone to go ahead and kind of act as their entry fragger. But they don't find anything and they'll back up. There's still very much time for them to go ahead and bring this through their own, the CT spawn, and finish up the job towards A. Arctic taking a couple of pot shots, won't find any notable result, but there's a player waiting on the A bomb site, mind you. He could spoil the fun and he could spoil the surprise. He's sitting back Jenny right now and he won't do anything. Osias is taken out of commission and TF just might have had the right mid-round call once more. But I have to say, Teal team probably still want to go for this one. And my God, should they? They already find that first kill.
No reason not to try and close this one out, as in the 1v2. Arctic unfortunately falls a little flat with the Sheriff. Shoutouts though to that turret placement from Tyrell. It was getting so much value peeking through market and getting the damage down onto Denya there. So absolutely huge. Now, at the end of the day, it is TS finding themselves losing another round, and they have to start to reel it back in because they've started to lose these rifle rounds. They pick up the first two, and that's just pistol and bonus. Then they lose the next three. Now they have to try and get it done, and I think this Odin for Arctic is going to get a lot more value here on defense.
You have to remember, though, at the same time, Teal team made a lot of amazing work happen with just pistols. Their best situation that they had, that Blade Storm, it got taken down immediately to start things out. The fact that they made that 4v5 into, I believe, a 2v2 or something at the end of it, it was still pretty close, all things considered. Oh, the Killjoy ultimate being used quickly by B. This is a very strange call. TS, they're going to be aggressing towards A main. They're not finding exactly the results that they hope. Bones, I suppose, is able to stay alive and get away for free. That's great and all, but TF still have a lot of room to work with here. As you notice, Nerfed, he's out. He's made the B bomb site his. He hasn't cleared the back of site, mind you, but they can fully rotate the bomb all the way through. Food can act as a little bit of a pincer. Still lots of opportunities remain for the aggressors in this man-down situation for them. Take Flyte, they're not out of it yet.
Now, Hunter's Fury is available, though, so should they hear that plant go down, I would imagine that ultimate gets used. Try and stop that. Nope. They're just gonna hang on to it. Okay, so no Hunter's Fury used. It's gonna be a 4-man retake. As two look to push on through market. Nerfed holding the tight angle. One inside of B main. Nerfed gonna go down. Osias finds his counterpart. Now they need to be wary of the remaining two. There's the Hunter's Fury. Osias goes good for another. And Bood locked down here inside of B main, inside of the dark cover. Looks to clutch up in a 1v4. There's the Odin coming through, but it's Osias to close it out. And Teal team battle back after losing 3 in a row. It was getting dicey, but they're able to reel it back in.
And it was really a bit scary, too. Because Take Flyte, I still stand by what I said about how that was a very winnable 3v4. The fact that they got spiked down, they had that great mid-round call to rotate towards B. That was a great heads-up play by them. Nerfed called that. And unfortunately, the big reason, I have to say, the real kicker for them is the fact that Nerf died while trying to commit and find an early peek onto that player towards market. If he finds a kill, even if he gets traded out, that is a very different round that we're looking at. But, that's Valorant for you, man. It's a game of millimeters. It's a game of inches. Whatever metric unit you want to use, or impure units, you can get fancy with it. But either way, it's a game of just tiny little movements, and we're going to see a lot of big movements made right here. The dash in, plus the run it back, plus the Hunter's Fury is going to be everything but the kitchen sink as they look to enter the A bomb site here.
Yeah, and that Hunter's Fury tagged too. It was a beautiful recon bolt to kick things off. Now the run it back going to be used. Nerf able to help his teammate out, so Bossy is still alive, and Nerfed is still going good for 2. 7 finally able to trade it back off the back end of the run it back. but they're still working against the clock. A beautiful curveball to grab another, and it's fish in a barrel here inside of this garden area. Now Tyrell looking to creep on up. He's going to go right into the fire of three. Should he head out towards tree? Instead, he is looking to rotate back towards heaven, and I think the call to save here coming on through here for Teal seam.
It's one that messes with you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was doing so good for so long.
Eventually, we all break through. Don't worry. Eventually, it looks like Take Flight eventually broke through to Teal seam as well. Very, very stunning round from them. I think, again, the big kicker... Ooh, okay, nice little exit frag. Appreciate that one from Bood. But I think why that was so good from Take Flight is the fact that they took cat control. And it hasn't, quite honestly, been something I think they've been giving a lot of attention to, at least in the same way. They established Crossfire very early on in that round. And the fact that Bood tossed down his lockdown, or excuse me, Tyrell tossed down his lockdown, I think... it felt a little bit premature. I'd have to watch that one back again, but Teal seam really just were not able to retake control of that tree room whatsoever, and that round was basically Take Flights as long as they could go ahead and keep that Crossfire in motion, and hey, it's not an issue for them whatsoever. They're the first team to double digits, and I think they actually have a real good chance to extend it to maybe 11. They find the opening kill. Things seem awfully good for them yet again, Tanner, but hey, maybe I'm a broken record at this point. Do you see anything going wrong? Bossy sure as hell doesn't. 2 kills for him and he falls.
Yeah, and in the latter half of this game, it's been Bossy and Nerf going huge together, working incredibly well. This here, another eco, so not a round you're expecting to win if you're TS. It could happen. It looks like Seven just going to try and grab a gun and maybe make his way on out. A 1v4, not impossible, but incredibly improbable, I would imagine. The economy not in the best spot. He just wants to hang on to that. And Nerf is going to look to make sure that that does not happen.
No way he checks this, right?
Spots the gun. He doesn't even have to go for the hard peek. Unfortunately, Seven just peeking out a little too much there. Maybe you needed to crouch in the corner, look at the wall. If I can't see you, you can't see me. What that means is another Take Flight round win, and they strung 3 together. They lost 1, and now they just have to string 4 together to close this out. 2 more in a row will be an 11-9 victory and a tie here in the series, as this is only map 2. But Teal seem not out of it yet. A full buy to come through. This is probably, if not the most, one of the most important rounds because of the position their economy is in going into that match point should they lose this.
I think this might be another flash play as well. You see Osias is situated by Catwalk and does have the Paranoia available. It's actually going to be the curveball that starts things out here. It's really pivotal that they don't die to Denya, but they don't really get too much information off of it. They realize that it's quote-unquote deserted, but they're not going to try to push their luck and retake it. Denya still awaits, hungry, waiting for something to jump into his maws. Nothing yet. This is such a crazy game of chicken that they're playing with Denya, but it looks like no one's going to be the victor. We stay even. One more thing I want to mention real quick before I toss it over to you is look how passive now Teal seam are playing. They're giving up B entirely. They're playing retake, and I think this is the right move. They don't have lockdown, mind you, but they're incredible on these retakes. We saw it a lot on Haven, and hopefully we can see it now to go ahead and get them right back into this game. Things seem awfully good for Take Flight as we enter, however.
And they're looking a whole lot better with Denya holding it down over towards B main. Operator in hand, slicing down one member. Bossy on the flank. This could be absolutely huge. Like I said before, it's Bossy and Nerfed that have been going big in these rounds. Simple's able to find one onto Bones. Tyrell trades it back though. Now trying to open things up onto this B site. What is Bossy looking to do? He's not looking to do anything. He's spotted out and taken down, but the defenders are running out of time. Tyrell goes good for 3, but he needs to find an ace and a defuse, and he only has a few seconds to do it. Not able to get it done. It's Bood to match the 3K, and it's Take Flight to match point.
Oh my lord. You have to feel hard for Tyrell there. A beautiful set of circumstances. Go ahead and find 3 kills, but an unfortunate set of circumstances to not find anything more from it. His team just couldn't quite piece the frags together, but it was a nice little effort from him. you know, enough about the negatives. We have to take every positive you can from Take Flight. They did beautiful in holding down their respective positions. Denya smoked off 3 times over, still kind of acted as a potential pincer, even if he didn't do anything. He was still a menace. You know, they always had to constantly worry about him. That's why there's always somebody, you know, keeping an eye out for that potential flank.
Get out of my way.
How to Take Flight now try to respond for potentially this last round? Well, it's going to be not much attention towards A and another full stack towards B. It's been promising. Why not go for it again, right?
Yeah, like you said, it's been working. There's really been no stopping this one. There's no hesitation from the attacking side, and
non-default plant.
no defenses. Yeah, they do plant just off the defaulted area. Lockdown is available, as are the blades, and the blades have been used. Now, Denya still inside of B main. Is going to be A-okay if he pushes up against the back, and that is not a great spot for the lockdown. Everybody's still safe on this B site, and nobody getting locked down. You don't get a whole lot of information outside of now you know that Nerfed and Denya are there, and everybody starts to get mowed down. It's Take Flight to tie us up on Ascent, and we are 1-1 in the grand finals.
Taking each other's map picks, mind you. Nothing is normal, nothing makes sense. But you have to love it. This is Valorant at its best. Tanner, it was an absolutely amazing game to watch. You have to respect so much how Take Flight bounced back from a number of these really difficult positions that they were in. Again, it was those mid-round calls, which I always want to point out as being so instrumental in their success. But I think Soul Post Plant's really cleaning up some of the issues that we saw on Haven. And Teal seemed even with a couple of, you know, less than stellar calls, but again, we have the benefit of hindsight. We're able to make that sort of criticism, but you know, it's in a vacuum. Either way, beautiful response from Take Flight. They take each other's map picks. What does this mean now that we're heading on to Split for number 3?
Well, it means that it's the first time we get Split on the broadcast. It means that there is a very small chance, a fairy tale chance that we get to see Viper. It's a fairy tale chance, but I'm still tossing it out there that maybe we see Viper on Split. It gets a little spooky because, like you stated, it's map picks going the wrong quote unquote way, right? You pick a map and you lose on it. That feels pretty bad. Now we jump in and it's Take Flight's map pick on Split. If Split is your map pick, it's typically because you know how to play this map. Just like if somebody would pick Icebox at this point, right? Everybody avoids Split. We see 13-1s, 13-2s, 13-0s on Split, even at the higher levels of Valorant being played. So I'm interested to see. I would think that we're not going to get another upset. I think Take Flight are able to grab this one because Split is that awkward map that nobody really wants to play. And then we jump back into a defaulted match or a defaulted map rather, where I think we go. I think we're getting a game 5, quite honestly, and we're going to come right back to Ascent and see how these guys run it back. That's my prediction. I'm always wrong, so that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, that was an interesting game number 2. It was very close. It just felt like Teal Team unfortunately couldn't reel it back in. And no flame, because I don't like to do that to the teams or the players or anything like that. It was an underwhelming performance. The last time we saw Tyrell on Ascent, he was absolutely locked down, whether it was on B side, whether it was rotating over to A. And it might just take, you know, those Herculean efforts for Teal Team to grab wins on Ascent. Unfortunately, it just wasn't there for him in that one.
Well, I mean, again, we know that Tyrell has it in them. We also have to see it, I guess, on map number 3. Again, it's going to be Split. So, I mean, you mentioned that this is probably going to go to map number 5. I just want to get your, prediction. But who takes this one? If we're going to map 5, you'll be right either way, you know, assuming it does go to map 5. But do you think Teal Team actually rebound, or does a map pick actually go the way of someone who actually chose that map this time? Because honestly, I think Take Flight have that momentum riding behind them now. They're looking a lot more poised and a lot more refreshed, dare I say.
Yeah, and although I did just predict a game 5, I refuse to give in to your peer pressure, Ito. I'm not giving you a prediction. We're just going to have to see what happens and who takes this next map. It is going to be game number 3, and right after the short break, guys, we're going to be headed over to Split. a short break after 2 solid games. Both Haven and Ascent are now behind us, and we are looking to jump forward to Split. This has been the grand finals and is the grand finals for hopefully the next 3 games. My name's still Tanner Metro. I'm still joined by Ito, and we had a question asked to us from the producers on the other side. We didn't get to answer it just yet, and I'm going to toss it on over because Ito was about to answer it before they brought us back on. But teams avoid Split like the plague, and why do you think that is?
Okay, well, first off, I want to say not every team dislikes Split, obviously. You have your niche picks. You know, everybody generally dislikes Split, and I think it's really just because it's a bit too close-knit. You know, I think it kind of limits your options in a lot of ways, and it can kind of make everything feel a little bit streamlined. I don't know. That's the main reason that I've heard. But again, you have to remember that that's not the universal opinion. It's just kind of what I've heard the most, is that everything feels a little bit too streamlined and I guess predictable in some ways. But I mean, what do you think personally about Split? Do you like it? I think since Sova's not meta on it, personally, I'm not huge on it because I really like Sova. Even playing against Sova, I'm cool with. But I don't know. What do you think?
So I think Split is like a worse Ascent, where you have the open mid area, you've got the A short kind of peeking down towards A site, where you're basically corralled in, but there's just less options, right? It's splashing through sewers or going all the way through your spawn, which is incredibly long, and then pushing through B. Right, like the B main area are similar on Ascent Split, but when you're inside B main on Split, you can't get a whole lot of information. Whereas on Ascent, you know, you can play through, obviously grabbing that alt orb, and then up on the box, you can make jump plays with Jet. You can toss out the recon bolts, or you can just get a bit more done from pushing on, and you don't get that. So as you said, it's close knit, it's kind of closed off. It feels a little claustrophobic, and it's a little bit harder to get the information. Now, unfortunately, we do not see a Viper. I am sad about it, but we do get no longer having a Sova. Means that we do have a Sage coming on through, and Simple has hopped on over to play that breach. So a couple of new faces here on the main broadcast.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see it. Look, seeing Sova on this map would be more interesting, in fact, because there's not really many teams out there who do want to play Sova on Split, excuse me, just because really it's hard to get a lot of great usage out of his darts, excuse me. But I think Breach is honestly a wonderful pick in this regard. I think right now you're going to be looking for Simple to set up a lot of flash plays for his teammates. So I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on him, especially since he was absolutely incredible on the Sova in these past 2 maps that we watched. So he definitely knows how to set up his teammates for some good action. We'll have to see it, though. As we enter this first round, it is going to be a little bit of a bias towards B. Nice flash play as they look to take over Heaven. Completely paranoid that Raze, excuse me, and the Sage will have to back up. But the push is actually happening on the site itself. Bossy finds the first frag, and the trade is actually not through from Arctic. It starts out a little bit crazy, as you would have to expect the trade to come through, and very late it does. A strange 1v2 that we find ourselves in, just right click after right click. But as it gets down to the scrappy last ends of it, you'll have to expect maybe Take Flyte to take this one. They have the spike in their favor, if they can play contact off this turret.
Bones on the swing. Bood is so low. There's absolutely no way. Almost with that right click. Had he not overhealed, Bones would have fallen to Bood and his classic. That is not the case, and it's Teal C on a map pick that is Take Flyte, grabbing that pistol round, and now we have a pretty good idea, right? Take Flyte, although planting here, I'm assuming they're not going to force up because that has been what they've been doing the entirety of the tournament. So they stick to their guns. They maybe grab, like you see, a sheriff coming on through. No, immediately they're going to revoke that decision, and they're just going to play for round 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's exactly a terrible idea because you have to keep your expectations realistic. You haven't had the best luck when you have forced up in the past, and I think it's totally fine for them to save all their money, keep it for round number 3. If you can force a spike down, cool, that's great. You have a lot of utility to set yourself up to take sites in the first place because of that breach, and just like that, the spike will be an easy take. Or the site will be an easy take, rather, and they'll get the spike down. So Already not that bad of a result from Take Flight. Now is the hard part, however, holding this down with pistols. Good luck with that one.
Yeah, the later parts of the round, right? These pistols start to fall apart, and the only thing you can do is really push the fight right onto him as it's all down to simple, and he tries to leap away. They do manage to get a kill there, so a little bit of damage to the economy of one, but the economy for Take Flight now looking pretty. 2 spike plants coming on through, a complete full save in that second round. Now coming into the third and possibly even the fourth, depending, on how this round goes. They should be sitting nice and pretty. And this is a round, again, it's one of those bonus rounds, right? It's SMGs,
right.
It's 7. It's no longer Bones with judge. Okay, Bones does end up picking up a judge as he was the only member to die in that last one. But this should be the first time we see Take Flight really start to regain control.
And I really enjoy the pick for the judge as well. I mean, you would have to imagine this will be Take Flight taking control, but that is really not all too certain. The judge is really effective, I think, on this map out of the entire map pool. There are a lot of angles that you can chase through, but it really requires you to have a wonderful read on the situation. Them having a Sage makes that a little bit easier for them because they're able to get that wall through, which denies one of the major arteries that could be a little bit difficult for them to deal with. But, I mean, look at this. Bones is sitting all the way down towards Rope Room, basically shutting off that entrance. So Take Flight, before they actually even begin to push, they need to sniff out every single angle so they don't give themselves up to the judge. And hey, guess who's waiting below them? It's going to be Bones, who actually will not, just barely not find the kill with the judge. He's down to 65 points of health, but there is no Sage. They can't heal him up.
And no Sage, no Sky, so no heals to come on through as Arctic looks to slow the push momentarily as a slow orb. He pushes on through slowly into the smoke and gets taken down. An awkward idea as he tries to lock down Heaven. Speaking of lockdown, 7 and Oasis on this B-side are making sure nobody gets through nice and easy like, as it's still the judge in the hand of one. That judge has now fallen, and Tyrell has to come up huge. We talked about him falling flat in the last. Now in the 1v2, can he get it done? Not going to peek out just yet. The pre-fire comes through from Booty. Drops on down to the site and simple to close it out.
Okay, well, there goes the danger. I was holding my breath for a little bit. Again, remember the artillery that they head into this round with? It was 4 leftover guns plus a judge. Again, think about it. If you want to play the whole butterfly effect game, just think about how different this round would have been if Bones did secure that frag on the player in Rope Room. It could have been a completely different situation that we find ourselves in. And they're actually still bringing out a judge into this next round, but it's going to be the Rays who picks it up. They switched over the Vandal to Bones. This is really peculiar. How do they change their setup as a result? I'm not quite certain, but already it seems like Take Flight wants to take a site. So, hey, they have that going for them, I suppose. Now Teal Team have a real challenge on their hands because they can't close the distance, but they're still finding frags. First one goes their way. The execute is already about halfway through, Tanner. They just need to get the spike down and things will be a lot more peachy for them.
Another spike plant to come through in that defaulted area. Nice and safe away from those paint shells, and the turret will get the information they need up towards its Heaven side on the A site. Now that Killjoy ultimate should be able to push some people back and possibly buy some time, but Teal Team, they're just playing aggressively for it. They're going to push right on into it. They're not going to take it down. Everybody dies, but everybody gets detained. Bones is able to grab the defuse here. It was awkward, but hey, they got it done. 3 rounds now in favor of Teal Team.
You gotta love it. The judge actually does come in clutch. So it's not that they changed their setup because of it, or at least not from what I saw, but what they did was just kind of send 7 in to be kind of this crazy Leroy Jenkins-esque character, and it did them good for 2 kills. Admirable effort. Really, that's a round that you could watch back time and time again because it was timed so perfectly from Teal Team to perfectly avoid that lockdown actually being used to its full effectiveness. That was a beautiful round, and I want to make sure it gets the credit that it deserves because look at how tight it was on that replay just as they got the final kill. Literally right like the same second the lockdown detained them. That was incredible, impeccable timing, and things could have been very different, in fact, if they didn't actually get it through so perfectly. So, for this next round, Take Flight, how do they rebound?
Well, speaking of things being different, The Arsenal, definitely different here, but it doesn't matter. The result seems to be this for Bossy as he finds a nice one-tap onto Osias, who's holding things down over towards the catwalk on B site. Now he's going to push on up, might find some extra action. Those darts not going to find the kill just yet.
That's good.
Arctic does find a way to close it out. It is, again, an eco round where Tyrell finds 2. Bone's going to clean up another. Now corralled inside of heaven. It's all down to the kill joint. I don't know if Boot has a way out here. He's able to find 1. So again, a couple of dents in the economy. But at the end of the day, it is still Teal team grabbing that round win. And you put rifles in their hands, just like we saw in the last game for Take Flight, and they're able to get it done. If they win this map pick, things would be so... You don't pick Split unless you just win on Split. You just don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like the most favorable start for them so far, but they've shown promise in a couple of respects. I don't know. I think really things are going to get nasty right about this mark, because this is where you're starting to see a lot more ultimates come online, most notably the Rolling Thunder. It's going to be the first time I think we've seen a Rolling Thunder this tournament, because we've just seldom seen Breach at all. Again, I have so many questions on how this is going to change their actual execute onto his site, because before they've been relying on that paranoid again towards Heaven, but this time Nerfed is just kind of sitting in Ramen, just waiting for the action to happen first. What cue is he waiting for is my next big question. A Killjoy ultimate going out might be a great start. There's a Rolling Thunder, and here comes the Execute Tanner.
Execute onto the site. Not a whole lot of value, and Boot sniffs that one out. No plays to be made, but Arctic gets 2 back. It's the Battle Sage for 3. Tyrell gets on the board. It's a 4K as they close out another round. Teal team go up 5-1, and they're looking stalwart on defense.
Oh, look at those trades, man. That was wonderful. I'm so glad we have replays for this, because everything moves so quickly. You know, I have to say lots of respect for you to be able to do play-by-play in this respect, because all those kills were happening. It was just, you know, colorful streaks in the kill feed. But Arctic was surviving forever. He was playing basically the perfect position to avoid all fights. The only way that he could have realistically been taken down was from a late pincer towards mid. But that didn't come through, and hey, neither will he go down. Take Flight are angry. They need to push this very quickly, and they're not having the best results to start. Bones, with a classic of all weapons, will say screw it to the $5,000 weapon and do it with the free one. Still, Take Flight look to try to close it. It's done. What? Look, I'm not going to blow my lungs out about that one. It was pistols, but dude, what? Are we going to be seeing a Brazil?
We're getting there. We're creeping that way. Now, as you said, it was pistols, so we get rifles again. But that hasn't seemed to matter too much. Teal team looks so strong here, and it's something... It's really weird, right? Like, what is this split paradox where some teams just get completely dominated on it, and it's a map that's been out since the beginning of time for Valorant. So why is that still a thing? And I think Take Flight maybe are assuming that's exactly what's going to happen, especially with a new team. But through the smoke, Bones picks one up, and 7 is there to answer another one, aggressively pushing through B main. The Spike is down on the ground over towards that sushi market area. But now you're down 2 members. You've only got Nerf's ultimate to work with. It's looking like another rifle round to go the way of Teal team and Take Flight. I mean, you might almost have to scrap the offense and just start planning for defense, because it's not looking great here.
They've tried so many different approaches as well. You know, it doesn't feel like Take Flight are just trying the same 2 scenarios and that they're just not having luck and they're bashing their head against a brick wall. No, they're trying pace changes. They're trying crossfire early setups, and finally something breaks through at last, but there's still so many layers that they have to peel away of this defense. A 3v2, 7 holds the line, Tanner, and I think he'll still be able to find 1 kill and the second. 7, we get his namesake in the scoreline as it's now 7-1, and I have to say there are a Brazilian things going wrong right now as Take Flight cannot do their namesake.
No, yeah, it's unfortunate. I had said we're gonna see if they soar to new heights. Unfortunately, Wings getting clipped here on Split, and it's that split decision where you pick the map and it goes the other way. It doesn't feel great, and the economy is in such a weird spot. Bood was sitting on, I believe, 6,000 credits, and the rest of the team in shambles. It's the change that you find underneath your seat or inside the center console of your car. This would be an interesting round. The flashes go out, but Seven is there once more to answer. 3 members stacked up towards Heaven B, and they stop this push. They wall it off, and now things get 10 times more difficult for Take Flight.
Last player standing.
This is ridiculous at this point. Teal Seam shutting down every single attempt from Take Flight so far. That was another, again, unique approach for them. They're still trying to take Heaven, so it's not like they're completely, radically changing up the strap hook or anything of the sort. But I think really the big killer for them in that scenario was the fact that they only had a Frenzy to really realistically entry in with. The Paranoia plus the Breach Flash, look, that was great, that was perfect. But they just couldn't really deal with it because Teal Seam still had 2 more players left to peel away. And again, this is what I'm saying, there are multiple layers to this defense, and it's why I think sometimes attacking on this map can be so difficult, even if some European teams would say otherwise. They have not been able to break through almost anything Teal Seam have brought to the table, and it feels like straight up outclassing at some points. Oh my god, Osias, though. This is so forward. He's playing this like Mame right now. Oh god.
Oh, the showstopper gets stopped. That feels horrible for Bossy. There just hasn't been an opening for Take Flight. Granted, it could just be, as I say that, Denya is able to finally land a shot here, and it could just be this offensive side, the struggle coming on through. Denya swaps weapons. Now trying to spray through. There's the res to come on through. No answer on that kill, so it doesn't even matter. 6 kills to be had in this round should Take Flight want to win it, and unfortunately they are down to their remaining 3. Tyrell able to find one in the back of the head. It's simple to go down. He hears another coming on up, and they try and spray through the box. The Frenzy looking to take a bite on out, but no, it's the classic, the free pistol to get it done over the 400 credit one. And now Denya should just get run down. There's the jump peek to come on through. He looks for the shot. He drops the smoke. He might make it out. A knife in hand. He's able to put it out. He was able to get another. What a finish. Unfortunately, Denya falls, but he had a good time doing it.
Falling with style. What in the world was that finish? I have no words at all. That is a round that otherwise you would tear your hair out having to watch, but this is just, icing on the cake. TS, they get to finish out a really crazy, scrappy round. Look at this from Denya. You can at least respect what he was going for, but all hope was lost. Wow, that is ridiculous. You love to see it. Probably not so much if you're a fan of Take Flight or Take Flight themselves. Again, that was another situation where I think they had a really good idea of what to do, but they're struggling at basically every other caveat to actually get the round finished. Oh, but this time they have something unique going on. Keep an eye on Nerfed. He's wiggled his way all by his lonesome towards Rope Room, and albeit there is, I believe, an alarm bot looking, so it could easily ease out the flank, this has potential to be a really potent A push, excuse me.
And the 2 remaining over towards this A site, creeping up with it. Boombot goes through. It's going to spot out one, but Bones, he's just going to tank it to find the kill. Nerf does finally come through to get one for himself, and that alarm bot doesn't matter all too much. But Bones with a 3K, and he's still alive. The operator in hand. He's wary of the flank, knowing Nerf is up towards Heaven. That spike slowly being brought on up. Going to be stopped momentarily by the Nano Swarm. That ult onto the A side. Nerf finds another. That's the operator down, but Tyrell is there to answer. And Boot needs to go good for 3. Unfortunately, he just cannot. Tyrell will grab another. As we inch closer to halftime, things are getting awfully dicey here. This is a scoreline I wasn't expecting to see in this game, but one that I always expect to see when we head to split.
I think that is the perfect description of how this game has been going. But I mean, okay, let's ground ourselves back to reality for a second. Take Flight picked this map. They picked it. And this is what they've been showing us. Offense has been neutered. I mean, it quite honestly has just been taken down time and time and time again. And they are trying new things. Again, I want to stress that point. It's not like they're bashing their head against the wall. It's just, it never seems to be enough. I just don't, it's hard for me to exactly point out one thing that they could be doing better. I don't want to point out, oh, just win more fights, because that's just a throwaway piece of advice, but I'm not seeing a really positive outlook for Take Flight at all. I'm thinking you just have to say GG, go next, and hopefully that bind goes better for you.
Swarm grenade out.
I mean, it's feeling like that, although I will say for these two teams, if one side can do it, the other side absolutely could match on defense. But where is your morale now as you try and get onto the safe site? The flashes come through, the lockdown is there, but it's going to be taken out almost immediately. The ults come through, the grenade comes through rather, and 7 finds 3, 7 finds 4. Unfortunately, there's not enough members here in this map for him to grab 7, but he still makes it look easy. And that last round, if you blinked, you missed it. We are jumping into the second half, 11-1 in favor of Teal team.
At this point, if the pistol also goes the way of Teal team, you have to think it's all about over. Yeah, this is going to be such a long and arduous journey back into this game. We can't even really think about talking about that for right now. Take Flight. This is a team that we know has it in them. They were riding the momentum heading into Split in the first place because they took away Ascent and looked really good while doing it. But Teal team, they are just really made out of something absolutely different at the moment. They are built differently, quite honestly, in the most literal way. They are looking phenomenal. And I need their, workout regimen. I need everything, because right now it seems to be working perfectly. This is the exact strat that Take Flight were trying, and look how much better it's already going. The answer is actually not that much. They trade 1-for-1 over towards Heaven, but things are actually looking a little bit better. I have to say, Take Flight, they're keeping things even, although there is a paint shell and there is a frenzy that is proving me wrong. 11-1, Teal team have just about made it 12.
Yeah, and it was the old school Call of Duty martyrdom, drop a grenade after you die to pick up a kill onto Bossy there. So a nice pickup at the very least. Denya gonna even the odds here, but low on HP, and the last remaining 2 are cordoned off towards the back of the site. They are going to be spotted out. The right clicks come through. Who's got the better half of the right clicks? It is Arctic to get it done. A 2K to close it out, and that was arguably the most of the game for Take Flight, as they are on match point after losing pistol, and it's just not looking great. You can force up whatever you can, but we've got 7 grabbing that Phantom. Spectres across the board, maybe even match with a Bulldog, depending on where Arctic wants to go. Teal team, man, just looking incredible here on this map pick, and it's not even theirs. I cannot keep hounding that point enough. I got to get away from it. It's so interesting. I don't get it. How does that work? How do you pick Split was this way? I don't think anybody was expecting this one. We're not done yet, but things are looking fairly grim as Boston tries to get to me. Fortunately, he pays the ultimate. Nice. The Nano Swarm is there, and from downtown with the Stinger boot is able to get 1. It's traded back almost immediately, but once more, the odds are even. Denya falls after finding 2, but that's a-okay. Now the retake has to come through. It's going to be 1 coming out from Heaven, 1 going to be headed over from these screens. The heals go through, Simple and Nerfed. Looking to try and battle back in this one, at the very least, scrounge up another round, and Nerfed would love to have a weapon in his hands. Unfortunately, they're all down towards site. Flashes out to put the site. Nerf going for the spray with the ghost. It's Osiris to sit them both down. A 3K to close us out. And Teal team reclaim their lead in the series 2-1 before we head over to Bind.
I was just watching in bated breath that entire time. I understand that was a toss, but I was just like, because that was one of the best chances they've had all game, if you would believe it. That right there, that 2v2 that looked kind of dire, best chance they had for a while. And when that is the best situation that you have been in for an entire map, you can tell things have been real, real bad. An absolute blowout. Saying anything more would be disingenuous. Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, Teal team looked incredible. They seemed trained, and you would have to imagine they probably picked that map. But no, then you look at it, they actually didn't pick that map. I cannot believe it. I mean, look, I understand it's something you've brought up time and time again, but it is a point that is going to be ringing true to me because by all means, that should have been Take Flights. You have to imagine if they're picking it, they probably have a lot that they can go ahead and offer up. But that has been tradition so far this series. We've seen each team steal each other's map picks. If this tradition stays true, you might see this next thing on Bind. But do you have any final thoughts before we close things out here? I don't really think there's all too much to exactly say about that one other than sheer domination.
Absolutely. I think, we're 3 games in. Grand finals. I just want to remind everybody it's a winner take all. So
Right.
if you make it this far and you go home in second place, all of your efforts were for naught there. As I was frozen, I thought I had to fix some technical stuff on my side. It's a weird spot to be. Now Teal team are up 2-1. Take Flight, have to battle back. You have to just erase that one from your memory because you need to have the game of your lives here on Bind if you want to tie up the series before heading back to Ascent. But as Ito said, we do got to jump to a quick break before doing all that. When we come back, we will see if Take Flight can remove themselves from the construct that Teal team has on them as we head over to Bind.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head because there are so many things that I left unsaid. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you in my dreams. My heart rages around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll
Well, we all blinked and map 3 just disappeared. Now, hopefully that's the same mentality for Take Flight as we look to head on over to Bind. A 13-1 defeat is a little crushing. Hopefully they're in high spirits now, looking to tie things up as Teal Team are up 2-1 in the grand finals. My name's still Tanner Metro. I'm still joined by Ito. And now let's not even talk about what just happened on Split. We've already done our part, did our due diligence to get that one out of the way. Now coming forward to Bind, I think what we can expect is no more Sage, probably no more Breach. Things going to be jumping right on back to being something a little more, conventional as far as the compositions go, right? The Sentinels, I'm sorry, not the Sentinels, the Initiator should be jumping on back up, and I'm interested to see what changes are made. And I'm interested to see if we get Cypher or Killjoy for both of the Sentinels.
I think that's actually really interesting because I've seen both work completely fine. In particular, you look at 100 Thieves. When they're on Bind, you see Steel probably bring out the Cypher. But Killjoy, she's not terrible. I think she's really good at solo holding a site. But I just think a lot of the time, considering how both of these teams have been playing, you probably don't even need like a Killjoy to solo hold a site because both of these teams are really great at retaking. So I think Cypher would probably be the pick if I had to choose one, but that's just me kind of throwing something out there. Cypher has a lot of those really cool one ways that you can do. Again, popularized by Steel. But I mean, other stuff that you can expect for comp changes, you're probably going to be seeing a lot of the same. Phoenix, Omen, Phoenix in particular is great on Bind. I don't think there's really that much room to see like a Breach, as you mentioned, but that would be a pleasant surprise. Anything else that maybe you could expect seeing? Maybe a Jet?
Yeah, I would have. So the thing with the Jet is we're either going to get Jet or Raze, right? And I think Raze gets heaps of value on Bind. A lot of the times you see it played over towards Hookah just to get that information, tossing out the boom bot, sometimes up towards A short. So I'm not too sure if we'll see the Jets over the Raze, and I'm assuming that we see some Phoenixes sprinkled in as well. I like the Reyna. And I think Reyna brings a lot to the table for both these teams, especially Teal Team, if they do sprinkle that one on in, just because it's that aggressive play style that is amplified with those Leers. So we'll see if that is going to be the choice for 7. We've already got some of these agents locked in, and it's Bood actually opting into the Cypher. And we'll see what Tyrell decides to do for the Sentinel on the side of Teal Team. A reminder, as you're taking a look at this, it is going to be Teal Team on the attacking side, which is typically where they show up. But that might not be the case. We'll just have to find out.
This is kind of the comp that I was expecting out of Teal Team, assuming they lock it in, and yeah, they actually do. This seems just about what I would imagine to see out of Teal Team, but I think it's interesting. Take Flight are actually neglecting using the Phoenix whatsoever, and look, there's all those tier lists that are out about like how good each agent is, but I think Bind is probably the best map for Phoenix because there are a lot of unique places you can use their firewall. One popular strategy that you see is tossing out the flame wall by A short. That way you can get a nice little sightline in towards U-Haul, and then a lot of teams try to take control of that. That's no longer going to be a factor. So Take Flight, I'm not going to say it's limiting their options because you can still execute no problem on this map without a Phoenix, but I think you're probably going to be seeing a lot of more unique strategies come out from Take Flight as a result. Maybe a little bit more of a fake or something of the sort. I want to see some more unique teleporter usage as well. It is genuinely surprising to me that we're not seeing a Phoenix, but hey, Take Flight. You took a map. Maybe you can go ahead and make this a second map. Again, keep up that pattern of stealing each other's map picks. Color me surprised if they actually pull away with this one. But as we enter the first round, Tanner, things already seem like they're being counterplayed. That recon dart will be removed towards bathrooms as they quickly try to take control of it. The two members towards Take Flight, kind of spreading their wings everywhere, looking for a default.
And that owl drone, not actually getting too much information. It does tag the trap wire, so they can push up towards B-Long, that garden area. Nice and free. Free of utility, rather. Not nice and free, because they've obviously got a couple over towards that hookah side. And the Raze is creeping up, but it doesn't look like they're going to give away any information. They're linking back up towards mid, and this could still go either way as they toss it back over. They're saying, hey, let's take this spike over towards long. We are going to hit B, and hopefully we can overwhelm and overpower. As that camera is going to be watching through hookah. Bones should be able to creep on up. Has the paint shells available as well. Now here comes the push through the cage. The right clicks. So much utility from Bones. But the paint shells coming out through the teleporter, able to trade one back. Nerf is able to go up top and get one as well. So we go same for same, raise for raise. Omen grabbing a kill on Omen. Now we'll see if Take Flight can retake this site. Spray down from Tyrell. Gonna grab one onto Bossy. Simple trades it right back. It's been back and forth the entirety of this round. It's been back and forth on the series, but Simple and Nerf to close it out. And Take Flight will grab an early lead.
And again, that is one thing that has been a staple for this entire series. Really strong retakes from Take Flight. And look, mind you, while I say that, I'm not saying Teal Team had particularly bad retakes or anything of the sort, but you saw how they really banked on that. How they didn't set up for traditional positions. They just waited for that trade to come through realistically. Bossy tossing out the paint shells to at least cause a little bit of damage through the teleporter and hookah. Slower play and relying on those shock darts, which didn't even have to do that much damage, but it was a brilliant collapse to take the site. And again, that is the staple that we have seen from Take Flight, and I'm glad to see that they're still sticking to that tradition. For round number 2, you're going to see actually a force-up from both sides.
No more charges.
It has also been a staple of this series, force-ups from the side of Teal Team. So I suppose it's not too unsurprising, but quite honestly, I don't really think this would favor them a ton. I think right now they need to get a really big burst out somewhere. Hell, even retake it over towards B. It's worth a shot. So at the moment, they seem a little bit aimless. Flash play as well. This is big. Oh no, wait. What are they playing for? They're just dry peeking? That is so risky from Nerfed, but that is huge that he didn't get killed. Ooh, that is big.
I went fishing for the trapwire as well with that satchel charge or the blast pack. Paint shells that come on through, try and clear out towards A short. That spike, once more, still hovering around mid. And as you pointed out, Ito, it is that force round, so this could mean a whole lot for the economy of Teal Team. Could also mean a whole lot for this round specifically, as it's SMGs on top of SMGs. Tyrell has creeped up in towards Shower, now trying to get through. The paranoia is going to be traded out back and forth. Cypher has spotted Cypher, but the site has been taken. That plant is going to go down. The spike will find its way onto the site, and the kill is going to be traded. Tyrell picks up Bood. Bood picks up Bones. Nice and even across the board, just like the Arsenal in this one. And Osiris going to even the odds. Teal Team looking to pick up a save round, or a force round win, rather. As Tyrell going to get run down, going to get taken down. Bossy with the spray down, and unfortunately, he was stuck in the cam, couldn't make it out. Now, all 3 remaining members make it too. Corralled over towards this lamp area and run down and sprayed down. It's another round to Take Flight, and the economy now in shambles going into round 3.
And, you know, that is the worst case scenario. When you force up in that second round, quite obviously you're hoping to win it. But it's kind of awkward too, because they found pretty decent results. They got 3 kills, plus they got the spike down, but it's not quite enough to justify forcing up a second time. The money is not great, mind you, on the side of Take Flight, but still, Teal Team cannot really even afford to try to go for another force. Like, they're right on the brink of being able to do it just because the round was so close to actually being effective enough. Like, if they got another kill, things might be considerably different. I don't know. It's right on that awkward state. Teal Team, however, will just have to only harken on these pistols. That is a great close of distance. Unfortunately, for the side of Teal Team, they aren't able to find that kill. And in fact, that's going to be Take Flight, extending it into 2 of their own. Only 1 man the good at the moment, though. There has been a trade coming through. Action seemingly all over the map. Does favor the defenders, however.
My camera is destroyed.
Yeah, Teal Team still not slowing down. 7 able to trade that kill onto Bood, but the spike has fallen, and it's a 1v3. This is a scary spot to be, but the ultimate is available. As that teleporter gets taken, everybody now rotating over towards this B site. There's a whole lot of time, but what does that mean for 7? It means that he's going to go for this plant down onto this B site, and Bossy with 20 HP. It's 19 more than he needs. He finds another kill to close out another round. And Teal Team finally going to have rifles in their hands, but what is that mental looking like as they fall down 3 rounds to 0?
Ugh. A little bit rough, that is for certain. At least they can go ahead and regain some of that confidence, you know? This is going to be probably your best chance to get a very solid gun round in your favor. Booed with the only upgraded AR rifle, in play. However, Take Flight, you can tell just by the way that they're positioned at the moment that they realize that they're in an innate disadvantage. You're going to see a double satchel play probably coming through from Bossy. And there you have it. He pops the ultimate as well to start things out. And they haven't found any results. It's actually not the double satchel play, It's only the single to get on top of that box. They don't find a kill. The only kill they do find is courtesy of their Cypher, who didn't pop the roll. So, an atypical way to start the round, but it's a pretty decent start for the defenders either way. Honestly, I'm still not sold on this. Teal team can easily come back. 45 is no hard feat for them. They've done it previously in this series. I'm still a little bit scared. Take Flight need another kill before I'm really starting to believe in them. And that is exactly what they need. 2 more. And hey, that is how you get right back into this game. It was a force. It was a bonus, Not even a force. They had to force up that single rifle. That's it. Now they can get Gucci everything, to borrow your phrase. Yeah. They are going to be looking very, very fine, Tanner. Heading into round number 5, that is probably the worst possible start that Teal team could be hoping for. They're once again going to be forced back onto pistols, and it was all thanks to that really heads-up play by Take Flight to look for an early advantage. Bossy, as you saw on the replay, just being able to spray down 2 from the Spectre, that is also huge, mind you, but I really think finding that first kill, I guess it really was a nail in the coffin. I just didn't think it was going to be that big.
And now another paranoia play up through Hookah does not amount to much. Unfortunately, Bossy trying to get on out of Hookah gets caught up on the lip there and takes a bit of damage, but A-okay as Denya gonna find 3 kills. Everybody corralled up over towards B long, and it just doesn't matter. You go that way, and Denya's gonna run you down. It's a 4K on an eco round coming through from Teal Team. They now find themselves down 5 rounds to 0, and they need to start bringing it back right here, right now. It was the attacking side that we spoke about that should be the strongest for this young roster. The aggression usually pays off well for them, and it's just not happening. And Take Flight, they're looking to hand the same kind of butt whooping that they just received on Split.
I won't be surprised if we see, again, the script has been very, very good. Shout out to our script writers for... oh, wait, we're not supposed to reveal that yet. No, I'm loving it. I really feel like I would be a broken record if I tried to explain away what has been happening, but Take Flight, it's just a simple eco dismantling. They're still kind of sticking with at least one of these Spectres on the Jet in particular, and they're finding so much mileage with it. This is unbelievable. Teal Team will eventually be able to respond with 1 kill, but it costs them to run it back, and they're down a player of their own. They don't have those smokes, and that is huge, Tanner. Booed will punish that by getting a free kill because there is no smoke. He can just easily contest any angle he wants. Now Take Flight are really falling apart at the seams as Teal Team will pull it through or not. Another really awkward situation where Simple has somehow made something out of nothing. He's made lemonade out of these lemons. I don't think they've spoiled quite yet. This will be the most ludicrous 1v3 we have seen so far. It just might happen. Simple doesn't get it through. Oh, hairs away. Arctic will pull it through, And Teal Team, they pick up their first at long last.
And what did it take, right? It took a Herculean effort. It took everything coming down to a 1v1. Even with things starting off well, Take Flight were still battling back, so it doesn't feel great. It's not a win, or a round win rather, that you're feeling too hype about, but it does break up that 5-round streak from Take Flight, and hopefully for Teal Team it amounts to more. They have 4 ults on the board. Should they choose to use them, hopefully they can get something done. Here comes the showstopper right into Hookah, as the boom bots are going to be traded out as well. There goes the satchel, not the satchel, the paint shells from Bones. Going to find a kill. All the utility sent into Hookah from that raise, and it amounts to 1 kill. So now the odds in favor of Teal Team, but I feel like it could still go either way. Booed, a menace here still, holding this corner down towards a short inside of U-Haul. Satchel goes out for the trap wire. Hunter's Fury from Arctic trying to get some information, trying to get some damage down. Bood taken dangerously low as he's corralled into the corner, sprays over towards Showers and able to pick up 7. Now Bones trades it back, but that is a fight that you should win. 40 HP and Simple looking to clutch up again. If not clutch, find himself another multi-kill. He's nerfed up towards heaven, low HP on 1, and that's the low HP member now gone, as you hear Silva call that out. Simple trying to get it done. It's Osias all by himself, and Simple does just enough for the rest of the squad to close things out.
Immaculate retake from Take Flight. Again, so many things you can break down from that small sequence of events. Nerf didn't even have to use his paranoia, and still things went so swimmingly. Big ups to Simple for staying alive and really clearing out each angle in particular. He bided his time, and yeah, you saw that angle clear. That was phenomenal. Made all the difference. He got so much value, found so much information, and his teammates were easily able to trade out, defuse the spike, and put themselves up to 6. We saw a Brazilian last time around, and quite honestly, it seems like we're going to be seeing another pistols for Teal Scene.
Yeah, this is very interesting. It feels very uncharacteristic for Teal Team to be down 6-1 on this map. After we've already seen it today, they were in the driver's seat and they picked up a win over Team Serenity in the semifinals on Bind. So it feels a bit awkward. And if there's ever a time to start coming back on in, it's right now, right here, right now, especially when you're staring at being able to close out the series. But if you lose this one, you go back to Ascent, and that's a map that you've already lost against Take Flight. So things kick off, and it's a 1-for-1 across the board, but still in favor for Take Flight, as they have the rifles, and Teal Team, unfortunately, have the pistols here. Spike maybe spotted as a headshot comes through. 2 are going to get sprayed down. That is Spike down, and now they just got to play Mama Bird, Mama Goose, and sit on that egg over towards that mid area, and it should be an easy close out.
Nerfed, I think, wants to close this early as well. Not only will it be easy, but it will be timely. Denya, phenomenal angle clearing once more. That rids the tripwires and allows Nerfed, to get right into action. So another round. There it is. Indeed, the Brazil does come through. You know, again, not going to try to get all too crazy about that one. They were just dismantling pistols. That time, it was actually Denya who was incredibly impressive. Just really well-timed aggression seems to be making all the difference. We saw it a little bit earlier from Bossy down towards mid-A. We saw it from Denya in that round. In the past, I think even Bood had a little bit of aggression towards bathrooms. I mean, hey, it kind of harkens back to a lot of what we saw in day number 1. This time, we're going to be seeing it in day number 2, and this time, Bossy will actually not get his day in the limelight. I'm sorry, man. No more crazy aggro plays for you that work out. However, he hasn't given up on the dream yet. He's pushed all the way out towards short B and maintains full control of it.
And that's a rough one. A quick reaction coming out, though, from Bones to be able to use that satchel charge to get away. Once you hear the satchel charge, you just got to trade it on out, expecting aggression to come through from that opposition or the opposing raise. Now, Denya mixing up the angles quite a bit here, playing in a different spot. Should be able to get quite a bit of value. Should 7 push out of Showers. Tyrell is right there behind him, and it'd be a double kill because it's looking like an A hit as they toss out the smokes. Nerf gonna take down that arrow. There's the run it back. Nerf still looking for more, though. Just gonna stay right in the line of fire. Neither member gonna find a kill, but 7 picks one up and is sat down. Bood gonna grab a couple for himself, trying to make him more. It's a 3K for Bood, and now it's all up to Tyrell, who picks up 1 but cannot find more than that. Tyrell, unfortunately, cannot find his footing here in the grand finals, and it hurts. Take Flight now up 8-1 in score.
It's an open wound, man. Every single time you think they have a chance to patch it up, they just get dismantled once more. Again, another solo play. How many times am I going to say it? But it really has been ringing true. I think Nerfed is the only one who hasn't gotten his just desserts. He was awfully close to being able to spray down that player by Showers. It's a bit of a shame that he didn't. That actually theoretically could have been an in for Teal Team, to get into the round, but just falling apart at the seams, I think, is a fitting phrase for this. A bit of a repeat of what we saw in Split, only it's the opposite teams. And what is this read, by the way, from Teal Team? They have 3 players out over towards Long B. Are TF even going to try bother? Are they even going to give them a time of day, or are they going to read this and back up? It seems like they're going to read it and back up. That is already one of the worst possible scenarios to be in, if you're a fan of Teal Team, is that they can't get an early free kill.
It feels so bad. Bood to pick up 1, Bossy to pick up 2. A neural theft gives away the information, and Bossy will cut Bones down, trying to satchel charge on through. And it's a flawless round here for a 9th round win. And we're just a few away from the half.
Crazy.
And as I said, Take Flyte looking to do exactly what was done to them on Split, but here on Bind. And it's so uncharacteristic of Teal Team. Now we get to see, this is a very young team. We talked about all of the players' ages being under 18 or under, rather, I should say. What does this do to your mental? You have a very long day. You go 3 games in the first series. You're looking to go 5 game in the next series, and a crushing defeat at that. And like you said, it seems to be falling apart at the seams. Teal Team have to start reeling it back in. They need to regain control here. And 7 looking to kick things off, but Bood just goes unanswered for so long. Bossy is there to trade a kill back, as is Osias, but it doesn't matter. And the martyrdom kill and the 3K for Bossy, starting to wrap this one on up as we are at the last round of the half, and it is rough.
That martyrdom, it happened on Split as well. And by the opposing team, it is just a carbon copy. Unbelievable. Just phenomenal showing from Take Flyte. It's what you mentioned as well, the mental game. But, you know, also a little bit of stamina. This has been an incredibly long day. This is game 4 of a best-of-5 series, which isn't even your first series of the day. You know, I'm sure these teams are going to be incredibly tired, but Take Flyte have absolutely ascended onto another plane for Bind. At least they're not going to have all the luck in the... Oh, wait, never mind, excuse me. I thought that was the other way around. I thought that was Bossy being taken out. But no, things continue to look pretty shabby as Teal Team once again lose a player. And at this point, it almost feels like a given. Another double kill by Bossy. He has been constantly appearing in the kill feed. Just, you know, throw a random player's name on the floor and you can guarantee they're probably going to get a double kill. This time it's nerfed. He gets his just desserts finally. 11-1. At the half. I mean, what can you even say at this point that hasn't been said? I feel like we already talked about all these big talking points, if not already, than we did on Split. Like, I mean, it's so reminiscent.
The only thing that I think there is to say right now for Teal Team is that this is the most important round of the half, right? If you want to start battling back, it's better to do it when you're not looking at match point, and you need to pick up this pistol in order to do so. On top of that, they're used to forcing, so should they lose and have to force up in the last, they might be a bit more comfortable than most of these teams would, and maybe more comfortable than Take Flyte were on that Split map where they had to force up into the last round of the half. 7 at the last second swaps on over to that shorty, so we should see that Phoenix playing a tight angle. It's 2 stacked up inside of U-Haul. It's looking like some information trying to be gained over towards this B site with the spike still down towards mid. A slow start, and just as Take Flyte know that they can't lose this one, you know how important it is to take their time and scrounge out the win. Frenzy up close. It was a fake TP, so they may have to be wary of the flank behind, and that camera getting quite a bit of value over towards that B site. But it is going to be an A hit. Here comes the Owl drone on out. It's going to tag Bood, so they spot one over towards the showers. The shock dart now to follow through. The smoke should get quite a bit of value, but it's Denya to pick up 2 to 7's 1. 7 now down, and the spike to go down as well. The retake to come on through, but Teal Team find themselves in the worst position possible. Down a man on the retake towards a site.
And against two smokes and an on-fire Denya, things don't seem to be getting any smoother as time goes by, Tanner, that's for sure.
Not at all. As that satchel goes through, they're able to clear that out. Denya goes down. Bones goes good for 2. Now Take Flight find themselves on the back foot, being a man down, make it another. It's a 1v1. It's low HP. And who better than Bood on this pistol round to try and close things out? The camera gets taken out. The defuse gets faked. And Bood just going to play around the clock. Bood is going to fall. But does he have the time? Bones with a 4K. And it's running down. It's going to be just under a second. 0.39 is all it takes for Bones to get Teal Team back in this one.
He had 1 bullet to hit that one tap, and he hit it! Look at this! Keep an eye on his ammo counter at the very end of this. Oh my... He needed to hit that one. Okay, uses 3, and then he uses another 2. Bam, bam. 1. Oh, that's so nasty! Oh, talk about a way to come back, but that's a consolation prize, man. You still need to get 9 in a row before you even tie things up, much less actually win it. It's a cool, it's a cool clutch. Cool round, great. But you're still a long way from home, man.
A long way from home. Although you should assume here that Take Flight didn't force up. If you are Teal Team, they haven't done it the entirety of the series. We're 4 games in. So it should just be classics in the hands of everybody to the SMGs. This would be a spectacular round to win. B-side giving up. They know that they've got the superior advantage, especially for the retake here. Tyrell not able to find too much as the shock dart's going to lock things down. 7 picks up 1. Bossy now falls. And Denya going to smoke things off. Try and stop some of the vision coming on through. The judge is only good for 1, but Tyrell makes his way up the leaderboard. And now Denya hiding behind the cloud burst. Not able to get it done in a 1v4. You can't expect too much out of that Sheriff. And Teal Team once more start to battle back. This right here, that pistol round, it was important, and Teal Team got it done. This next one is going to be the first rifle coming out from Take Flight, and I'm interested to see what Teal Team does. Do they respect this one and in response buy out in rifles, or do they hang on to this light buy that they have from that last round?
I mean, when your backs are against the wall, you have to imagine that they're going to give as much respect. You know, I mean, they kind of have to. They lose a round, they're facing up against match point. They lose another, and they're on to map 5, where they have to rematch, on Ascent, where they, I wouldn't say got clapped, but they were outplayed, that is for certain. So they're going to try to utilize the best of this bad situation, and Bones immediately dies. I mean, quite honestly, it's nothing more than a whimper and then a bang. However, Take Flight, you gotta be so happy if you're in their shoes, because they just now found the golden ticket to victory. Denya makes things even sweeter as he gets 2 more, and it's just about done. Tanner, I can't see a way back into this. Teal Team probably is going to be having the Cypher hold on to their gun, because that is the only Phantom they have on their table, or yeah, on their team, and they need to bring as much as they can onto the table for this possible last round of the map.
Yeah, and buying the Phantom here, it feels a little awkward. Tyrell dying in that last one obviously had to buy something and is very low on credits. So if you die, it's not great. So at the end of the day, he needs to live here. It's probably the most paramount thing that he survives at the end. And Take Flight know that. They're just hunting him down here. He's going to get the lower end of the credits for this first saving. That's okay. Should be enough to buy some armor, some of that utility, and hopefully the team around him can buy up, or else I would imagine we see the same exact thing happens, and we should be going to a game 5, which, hey, I don't make a whole lot of predictions, but I was right about that one thus far.
Well, hey, I don't know. It's not too late for the caster's curse, but it would take it would have to take an unreal effort. Probably the greatest comeback that has ever been seen in Valorant. 9 rounds in a row, again, just to bring it to overtime, which in that case, you still have to fight and get 2 more in a row to close things out right here, right now. It doesn't exactly seem all too possible, but we have been surprised so far. We've seen both teams trade each other's map picks. Who's to say that we can't be surprised one more time? But Take Flight, basically, they're knocking on the door of victory, to borrow a phrase that I use from Ascent. Maybe they can go ahead and Try to force us to map number 5 very early on. It seems an awful like it, Tanner. There's a double entry in from Bossy, who has been on fire. He's teabagging the body in hookah. I think even he realizes this is just about done.
Yeah, Bossy and Bood looking so incredibly strong here on Bind. And with those kills stuck in a 2v5, there's just nowhere to go here. Take Flyte looking to close things out in 13-3 fashion, and it's all up to 7, who picks up a couple, but on the flank, he turns around to get shot in the back. Take Flyte, close it out, and they will be meeting on Ascent for game number 5.
Wow. Talk about a rebound. You were talking a bit earlier about the mental game that both of these teams, the fortitude that they had to, I guess, overcome in order to make it to this point. Again, stealing each other's map pick. That's a storyline that we've mentioned time and time again. But in particular, it's the fashion that they won each other's map picks. After losing 13-1, you're able to bounce back and win 13-3. I mean, you're basically giving up nothing on either side, and it all seemed like it never happened. You still saw those amazing solo plays. Not so much mid-round calls, but I didn't even think they need to make anything particularly interesting because they weren't running into any issues at the beginning of their rounds. They, quite honestly, could do almost anything they want, and Teal team didn't have a response. I'm curious on your final thoughts, though, because we are going to the final map, and using this first strike rule set, we are going to be heading right back onto Ascent. We're not going to be seeing Icebox. Whether that's fortunate or unfortunate kind of depends on how you view the map, I suppose, but what are your thoughts on that map, and what are your thoughts heading into this last one? Because everything seems up in the air for me, Tanner.
Yeah, everything is absolutely up in the air, and it makes me think, what did we have for actually, like, are these map picks the actual team's picks? Because they've been completely inverse.
Yeah.
You pick a map and you lose on it, and it obviously feels horrible. What I will say is it looked great for Take Flyte, right? They get smashed 13-1. They're able to erase that. This is going to be one of the first times that we get to see from Teal team if they can do exactly that. And it's even harder when it's on a map that they've already lost on, right? Going back to Ascent, the mental, you need to be in the highest spirits here for this one, and hopefully they are doing that. Now, with that being said, everybody needs to go back to the drawing board. The teams are going to take these next couple of minutes to try and figure it out as we head back to the duplicate map here for map number 5 in Ascent to close out the grand finals.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head because there are so many things that I left unsaid. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you in my dreams. My heart rages around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know
Ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this game number 5 here in the grand finals for the Serenity Invitational. And what a series it has been. It's been a couple of close games. It's been a couple of not so close games. And now we head back to Ascent, where we've already seen Take Flyte grab a victory here. And we get to see if Teal team can iron out the kinks and able to get it done in this last one. Winner takes all. It's $1,000. I'm still Tanner Metro. I'm still joined by Ito, and I'm pumped for this one.
Well, I'm pumped for this one as well, but again, you have to remember the factor. Both of these teams have been playing for so long. In their semifinals match, both of these teams went to map 3. In the grand finals, it's going to map 5. This is going to be a battle of who's able to last the longest. And quite honestly, I don't think either team should be ashamed. However, there is one thing you have to mention, or two things actually. First off, I have to mention that this is winner takes all. Second place, you get absolutely nothing other than a little bit of practice, a little bit of time on stream. But there's another thing that we want to mention real quick is that we are going to Ascent, not Icebox. And Tanner, you probably know the specifics more than me. You know, you have probably a script for why this is happening, but it has to do with First Strike. And, you know, tell me how it works. Pretend I'm Twitch chat right now.
Yes, Twitch chat's been asking a lot of questions, and sometimes sometimes reading is harder than listening. So basically what's happening for this one, we are running it back with the map selection in a best of 5 series as per the First Strike rules. What that basically means is that last map, Ascent, is just the decider. So that way each of these teams get their fair chance at selecting the 2 maps that they want and then running back Ascent at the end. So if we would have seen Icebox split, something like that, we would still get Ascent at the end of the day. Now, that's not how that necessarily worked out. But what we do know is that we're jumping right on back to it. Now, on paper, this was a Teal team map pick in map number 2. Now we jump into map number 5, and we get to see just how much of a map pick it is. Because Take Flyte won the coin toss for this decider map, they selected to choose defense first. And we'll see, like I said, if they ironed out the kinks here, starting on attack, it's time to be aggressive, and it's time to dig deep here in the grand finals.
And I really like, you know, honestly, despite how everyone might feel about this format, I'm really happy personally that we're going back to Ascent. It has been the most promising map for both teams in this grand final. It was 13-6 on map number 1, Haven, and then 13-1 and 13-3 respectively on a Split and Bind. So I mean, you know, quite honestly, this is probably the closest that we'll get to a really competitive map number 5, because we saw in the past that Icebox doesn't exactly seem favorable for either other team. So, I mean, hey, I'm happy that we're on Ascent personally. We're not seeing anything all too crazy. Nothing has exactly changed other than the fact that, like you mentioned, it'll actually be Take Flyte starting on defense. That's kind of interesting to me because we saw how the defense went for them the first time around, is that they showed a lot of promise, but I was really interested in the attacking side for both teams because they had some phenomenal mid-round calls. So we're going to have to see if now TS can go ahead and stand up. Now's the time to do it. Map 5, winner takes all, and God, I can just only imagine how tired they are. I'm getting tired just thinking about it, but I mean, Tanner, I don't even know what to expect at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it has been an incredibly long day for both of these teams. Now it all comes down to this. Like I said, this is where you dig deep. This is where you know, the boys become men, the girls become women, right? At the end of the day, no matter how tired you are going into this one, you just have to figure it out. And it looks like we're sitting on a pause for a little bit, maybe some technical difficulties, but the teams are starting to ready up in the chat, and we should be maybe underway soon. Unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case.
I'm getting... Oh, there we are. Okay, never mind. We're live.
Yes.
I was almost hoping you guys would see my face again. Darn. But glad to actually get back into it. Again, battle of stamina. That's the big thing I'm going to be looking out for. How, you know, unruly, how aggressive do Teal team get? These are a team of youngins. I say that as a 21-year-old here, but as you see, they're not patient at all. They're not going to try to wait out, play default. They're pressing W and getting the spike down with over 1 minute and 20 on the clock, forcing that timer arbitrarily down to 40 seconds. Now, it comes down to who has the cleaner post plants.
Yeah, and well, unfortunately, Ito, you have labeled yourself a boomer by giving out your age in the Twitch chat. And that's just how it works. Unfortunately, anything over the age of 18 is considered a boomer for these guys. Now, it's still a 5v5. It's all quiet on the site, but now we're starting to see people storm on through. Seven takes quite a bit of damage here. Not able to find the right clicks just yet. He's able to find one and is good to go down to another. Denya picks up two, and he's still hot from the last game. Nerf still on the board, but they're running out of time. Bones just has to buy time. They try and stick the defuse. They find the kill, but it's just not enough here. Bones goes clutch, and Teal Seam, the aggressive strategy pays off.
Super aggressive, and it worked out great. I mean, it's so risky when you go for a full-on rush like that, because one of the big points of the default is to find out and sniff out where the defenders are obviously holding for one, but also burn some util. That is not nearly as much of a factor on the pistol because, you know, the amount of utility that you're going to have is limited at best. You know, you're not going to have a full Cypher artillery or Killjoy artillery that you're going to have to worry about. And they use that perfectly to their advantage, immediately running it up towards A. They're able to buy so much time, force out the minimal cooldowns that TF did have, and they're able to get away with a victory. However, it was a very bloody win at that. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the few cases where you actually see TF decide to force up in the second. Although, as I say that, it seems that they're still going to be on that frenzy duty. So, nothing has really, I guess, fundamentally changed.
No, but a nice headshot to get a little bit of damage down onto Bones, making him that much more killable. And it wasn't a full save. It wasn't full classic. So Take Flight already flipping up the script a little bit here. Now, being a man down doesn't feel great in round number 2. And being a man down when you've only got pistols in your hands feels even worse. We'll see at the very least if Take Flight can look to do a bit of damage to the economy here. Nice start going on through. The Molotovs are down though. The hot hands, the nano swarms, are trading them back and forth. And those are the nano swarm kills I wanted to see all day. Yes. I talked about it in the first series. Tyrell brings it to me at the end of the second.
I was just thinking that exact same thing, man. You were talking earlier, I think it was when we were on Icebox, how you were disappointed in the lack of utility kills. Well, Tyrell, he was on fire in that first series, and now he's bringing the util kills in this second series. Maybe he's going to be listening to you, and maybe the script will be fully fulfilled. You are just the master writer, aren't you, Tanner? Tyrell is off to a fiery start, and so is Teal Seam as a whole. Now, they need to do it up against guns, excuse me, and this is where things get really difficult. That is just a battle of the ranges right there. Spectre v Phantom, I'm always going to favor the Phantom, and that is exactly why. Killjoy Ultimate will be used. So that will mean Tyrell has a chance to fully rotate all the way around Catwalk. The spike is planted. This is a very powerful post-plant position that Teal Seam have just because of this one player, Tyrell, alone.
Yeah, Teal Seam were able to trade a kill back as well, so that long-range battle not going in their favor ends up in a kill, no less, as that blaze wall gonna stop things momentarily. Nobody wanted to push through just yet. Which goes out, but it was on top of the smoke, so I'm not too sure how much value it got as Seven looks to spray on through. They're already on the site here, and Take Flight are looking to turn things around. It's their first rifle round as they go for the defuse. Shock darts come through. Shock dart finds the kill, but unfortunately, Arctic will fall. He cannot hold it down for much longer. And it's going to be the first round win here for Take Flight. It was a rifle round. It was awkward. Maybe you slap rifles in the hands of Teal Seam, and it goes a little differently. But hey, no less. It's a round pickup, and now we get to see just how strong these teams are with a full arsenal. It's hard to say. I can't say full arsenal. I take that back, because Nerf's going to have a stinger.
Nearly for full arsenal, I think it's fair to say. You know, 9 out of 10 ain't bad. Seeing the one person who's actually using the Vandal, interestingly enough, it's also the Omens. So the Omens will be diverting from the normal Phantom plan, but again, it's no harm, no foul. Still, there's a full buy-in effect, like you mentioned, and this keeps the opportunities open. You can definitely tell how much Take Flight have been learning because of what has happened in the past with that Killjoy long flanking around Cat. They specifically set up a turret. That way, it would kind of act as this, the sixth man. Kind of watch for it. Really smart heads-up play by Take Flight. That is something you only gain by experience and having matched up against them previously on Ascent. So, now with all that in mind, it's going to be up to Teal Seam to completely flip up the script and switch things up. How they're going to be handling that is a whole nother question, because they've kept Bomb securely over towards A. I think right now this has the anatomy of possibly being a mid-take. They're leaving themselves open because although Bomb is anchored over towards A, they could easily run it over towards Market.
Joke's over.
Wait,
You're
they used run
dead.
it back. They're going in the site with Bomb? Okay, no, they dropped it. No worries at all. Nerfed, who does have that Singer, will be holding the line, only good for 1 kill. However, that is just huge from Teal Team yet again. They're able to take the site, and it moves so
30 seconds
blisteringly
left.
quick, Tanner. I barely have time to breathe.
Yeah, it was quick to kick things off, and that's exactly what we expect from Teal Team. The aggression is finally starting to work here. They're firing on all cylinders as we've made our way to Ascent for the second time. And with the spike planted, they once more find themselves a player up. Bossy trying to get aggressive, going on out towards this catwalk area, is going to be spotted out and going to take down Tyrell there. Bossy, not first to come, but will grab that kill, will even the odds. But unfortunately, as I say that for Take Flight, I cursed him. Osias goes good for 2, and that site is locked down. There's another pickup here for Teal Team, and the rifle still feeling pretty good in their hands. And now, unfortunately, that economy, it's not looking too pretty here. They're going to buy what they can, but it's not everybody. And I guess at the end of the day, you got the knives, so we'll see. Bones had himself a couple of good rounds with those knives. Can Denya do the same?
I mean, this is actually a pretty scary round when you look at it. On paper, look how close they are to a number of ultimates, and that's always one thing I'm going to be bringing up, but it's going to very much be a factor in this one, because if they can snatch away an ultimate orb, suddenly things don't seem so secure for Teal's team. Big thing to look out here for is, of course, going to be Denya. They're going for the Vision Striker? No, they aren't going for the Vision Striker's play. They haven't actually dashed through over towards Tiles. They're still keeping a pretty firm hold over towards mid. They will not be rewarded with the first kill, but at least it is a trade. Bomb making its way up towards Catwalk as well. Again, keeping their options open. This is a really cool adjustment that I've liked from Teal Team so far, but this next kill is really going to decide so much about their approach. Right now, it's poised for A. Kill towards mid, though. It's so awkward.
A seems to be working. Teal Team on the back foot just a bit as far as the health bars go. And Denya, both of these jets right next to each other, and they just don't know it. We'll see how this one pans out as they look to storm onto the A site. 3 members strong for Teal Team as they sit down. The only member here in the right click. Bones gets spotted out. And once more, the odds have been even. Unfortunately, Osias in that kill was traded back quite a bit of damage, so only on 11 HP. Now has to be wary of everything here. And as you stated, he does have that paranoia, does have the ultimate available as well to try and change positions. Queued up is that paranoia. Hot Hand's going to stop a push from Tree momentarily. Those shock darts not going to get too much value, and Denya's going to get a whole lot. That's his second kill here, but 7 trades it back. A 2v2. It's lower HP on the side of Teal Team, rather. Almost called him TeamSpeak there. Now Bood able to stop one. Osias is there, but he doesn't have the angle. They're running out of time here. It's a 1v1. He's just got to send it, and Simple is just going to stick it. The spike will be diffused, and oh boy, if we didn't have ourselves a series, we get another round of pickup in stylish fashion.
Harkening back to the days of Olaf Meister with the diffuse in the flames. Quite literally, through the fire in the flames, they carry on. They'll have to drag and force up everything they can to make this buy work out, but talk about a phenomenal performance from Take Flight. As I mentioned, this round could have been lethal, and my lord did it deliver. Goes down to the very last player on a sliver of HP. It's close, but my lord, Teal Team, this is going to be probably one of the most important rounds in the early stages of Ascent, because the economy is not great for either team. This is going to be deciding how quickly they move in this next rifle round. Who's going to find the first pick? I mean, this is absolutely everything right here. Both teams are bringing everything they can to the table, and the kill looks to be going the way of actually going to be Take Flight. Bones with a beautiful response takes down Bossy as he looks to push out towards Catwalk. He will get nothing but a quick shot to the face. There is a trade out over towards A main, and that will be a quick A burst actually, but look at this paranoia from Nerfs. He's already waiting. This could be huge as well, Tanner.
A nice little flank here, stopping some of the positions to be able to push out to in that post plant. It's an eco round. If Teal team were able to pick this one up, it'd be absolutely huge here, Bood. Gonna use that turret to make sure nobody pushes on over from Catwalk. A site completely locked down thus far, but they're all corralled on this site. Here comes the Bulldog. One gets spotted out. The turret gonna get a bit of information. Bood and Denya gonna pick up a couple of kills, and it's all up to Tyrell, who has been clutch before. Unfortunately, with only a sheriff to his name, it gets a lot more difficult to do just that, and we are knotted up at 3.
Was that important?
Very scary round. It felt like up until those last final moments where finally the kill started flooding in for Take Flight. I still had this thought in the back of my head, it could go either way, but no, as you mentioned, it has to be the eco that eventually kind of takes hold, and eventually things will be a lot more stable. Take Flight, their economy isn't fantastic. On the side of Teal team, though, no, it definitely is stable. They finally stayed for a round. They didn't force up. They didn't try to force the issue very early, and this is their handsome reward. They have also a good amount of ultimates to work with here. This is a ton of pushing potential. What I think Teal team are going to try going for here is the Hunter's Fury. I don't think they even... Oh, wait, no, they're going to be doing a lockdown play. They just picked up that ultimate orb. They have so many options where it's going to be kind of impossible to predict, but they seem to be poised for a quick burst up mid. There's the lockdown. Right on cue.
Joke's over. You're
Yeah,
dead.
Bossy looking to get something done. Nice flash. Doesn't get a whole lot, though. Tyrell still able to see and find the kills. Now the Hunter's Fury goes through. Simple trying to answer back from across the map, and he does just that. Unfortunately, Take Flight find themselves 2 members down this time around on this retake. It's Nerf, and it's Simple. If anybody can do it, it is these 2, and they have quite a bit of utility to their name. As the hot hands come through, it's only going to stop that push momentarily. And a smoke to go out to make sure nobody shoots on through B main. No information to be gathered just yet. Is that recon bolt? Not going to find anything either. And unfortunately, Nerfed and Simple, they're doing their due diligence, but you're just running out of time. It looks like they just might have to save and possibly look for exits unless they just send it right on this site and clear everybody out. Paranoia to go through. They're going to spray into market and find the kill. It was just too telegraphed. And now it's all up to Simple, who is fishing for whatever he can on the way out. And he's already got himself 3. Able to hurt the economy a bit. It is unfortunate. It is still a round loss for Take Flight. So Teal's team going to be A-okay to walk away with that one. But Simple making the best out of the worst situation.
A consolation prize, finding those 3 kills at the end of it. But, when it's a 2v4 like that, that site, it's so difficult to retake at times. So I totally understand their decision to not full send it. Looking for exits was definitely their best choice of action. Again, I have full respect for what they're going for there. Is this that nerf? I suppose telegraphed it a little bit much. Again, like you mentioned, you seem to be calling out a lot of the players as they happen, which is great. Right now, I think right now,
Come on, let's go.
Take Flight need a bit of a change of pace. That's a good start. Pushing right on through towards tiles. Something reminiscent of Vision Strikers, that is for certain. But all they find for it is a pretty healthy tag onto Bones, who will be down to 41. Still effective, though, even at this low HP. So while he's a little bit of a liability for his team, that means he is most certainly still able to cause a little bit of chaos. Bomb still very much over towards A. One more thing I want to mention. This is going to be an incredibly difficult take to actually even justify, because this Hunter's Fury, I think, is going to need to be huge, and they're going to need to go in right behind it.
All 5 stacking up here, and 4 rotated over for the most part. 1 still holding out towards mid. There's that Paranoia to go through. The smoke's out towards heaven. They're trying to make it quick, but Simple is going to slow it down. Bones will fall. That door going to be taken down as well. Now the spike to be planted. Nerf picks another one up. 7 trying to trade it back the best he can. He's good for 2, but he needs to be careful. There's a Molotov at his feet, and the spike has yet to be planted. He tosses down his hot hands of his own. As Arctic goes good for 1 up top towards heaven. Now the rotators come on through. The spike, once more, yet to be planted. Arctic off the side, able to peek over towards the tree room, able to find 1 kill. Now 7 with the blaze wall to top himself off. Teal Seam looking to grab another round here, and Denya needs to stay hot. He knows one is generator. He knows one is over towards A main. It's 21 HP on the Sova. Not going to find the kill. Arctic picks up a 3K for himself, and it's another round secured for Teal Seam.
That just completely not at all what I was expecting. I thought the only way for Teal Seam to win that one was a Hunter's Fury or some sort of pushing engine, but no, they just go straight in. It takes a single paranoia and they're able to eke out every single kill. They didn't even need to touch the Hunter's Fury. I understand now why. They want to use it to counter that lockdown, but it wasn't even necessary. Arctic, that push that he did to take down the Killjoy was actually unbelievable. Booed, maybe he's going to exact his revenge. Take down the other Killjoy. Borrow your phrase, removing the imposter.
Yeah.
But there doesn't seem to be that many among us at the moment. As right now, Teal Seam now down a player. Once again, have to pull out something crazy, but they've done it before. They can most definitely do it again.
And the kill feed just littered red and blue as bones. Gonna break up the back and forth pattern. Once more, we find ourselves in a 2v2 headed over towards this A site. The A seems to be the play. Be not necessarily working out every single time. Now 7 into the last remaining as Bossy picked up a nice Sheriff kill. He's got the ultimate available, as does that Killjoy here. With the lockdown, could push him off the site. We'll see where 7 decides to play. We'll see if he decides to use that run it back. Odd Hands comes through, pushes him off the spike momentarily. Boot is going to use that lockdown to try and push him away. And, I mean, what can you get done here? He's got to run so far away, all the way through main. No, okay, he can sneak away into Wine, which is exactly what he's going to do. He takes down the Nano Swarm, the Blaze Wall, but he's still going to get caught out. He's detained.
They're going to knife him.
They know exactly where he's at. They're going to knife him, Bossy. Not like this. And what a way to get back in. Take Flyte. They find the round to win. We're getting closer to being tied up, and oh man, that one's getting clipped.
That's a morale booster, man. Not only was it the win, but God, you have to feel so good while doing it. I know you were mentioning the run it back, but thing is, the run it back is so risky to use in a 2v1 because unless you know the exact positions of both players, you're always possibly risking the fact that, hey, maybe there's going to be somebody who just comes in behind and completely demolishes you, camps your body. I think it was smart for 7 not to use in that scenario. They can go ahead and refresh, and entering this last part of the half, they'll still have a comfortable amount of ultimates to use. The knives won't be one of them, apparently, because Denya will show a little bit of jet superiority. That is the first kill, and it feels like the first one for the operator that we have seen for a good while. I'm not going to lie. Been a bit of a drought for the op.
That it has been, as it's a slower start once more. Teal seeming to lose some of their steam here, not moving or firing on all cylinders as they once were. There's that run it back that you were talking about here. Boot forced to back away, not able to find too much, was hoping to find a spray down. Now the operator actually getting run down, and he's running out of time. He will be sent right back, just about out of shield, and unfortunately the hot hand's not going to find its mark up towards market. That spike should easily be planted, but this entire site is being corralled. There's one on the flank, there's one in market, and the remaining from the defender-sided spawn. Hunter's sure to come on out, trying to clear things out, as Denya not able to find anything just yet outside of that first kill early. Bossy, though, pushing on through, and by log 7, somehow, some way, stays alive, and they're just going to continue to mow him down. It's a 2v1. It's a winnable one at that. As Simple looks to swing, it's 7 for 4. As they regain control, Teal Seam now squeak out a 6th round, securing, at the very least, a 50-50 half.
The logs is usually a one-and-done position. When, you know, in a perfect world, you only get 1 kill and then you're immediately traded out. 7 doesn't care about your expectations, your ideals. He wins the round solo from that position. Look at this 4th kill right now, too. He has some of the best movement I think I have seen in Valorant. He is so good at playing those angles. Absolutely adore it. I'm going to try to calm down the fanboying for now. Sure, Teal Team, they're in the lead. I can maybe fanboy about them later, but Bossy is going to try to show them up. Same story with Simple, but they're only going to find a couple of kills apiece, and Teal Team otherwise will completely run over and take the site. Nerf being the last bastion of hope.
Last bastion on top of this site is able to find one here. That Stinger, the X Factor. Now it's one in the back of the site. It's 7 who needs to go good for a few once more. The paranoia comes through. He picks up the kill now in the 1v1. It's Phoenix v Phoenix. It's run it back for nothing here. Bossy, no ultimate, has a flashbang available, is able to send that one back from where it came. The Blaze Wall to go up. Gonna top himself off, but that should not get him all the way healthy. Now 7 has absolutely no clue where he's pushing from. Both of these Phoenixes have a flash available to their name. Now looking for the plant, tries to peek out, and he's able to get the clutch. Bossy was looking to be first to contact, but he falls. And Teal Team now secure the better half of this one before going into defense. At the very least, it'll be 7-5.
But at this rate, I could easily see it being 8-4. Some of these rounds are going down to the wire, and they are being won by amazing solo efforts. By, in particular, it's got to be 7, but everybody has really had their time in the limelight. This entire series, everybody has had their time in the limelight. Look at this. He turns away at the last second. Just, oh, beautiful angle peeking. Again, I want to calm things down here. Enough about 7. Sure, he's been the star of the show for these past 2 rounds, but there is still a whole other roster of lethal players, one of which is going to be Bossy. Removing Tyrell, that will be now the Sentinel taken out of commission. Because of that, there's no lockdown in play, Tanner. That is their big pushing engine removed.
Yeah, and good on Bossy to battle back, losing in that 1v1, but immediately goes right back to the aggression, picks up an early kill, takes a very crucial ult. Now the next thing you have to work with is from the shadows, and that isn't necessarily the best outside of a nice rotate if you have that spike. Take Flyte really looking to grab everything they can before going into the half here. Now up a member and staying right in place. They're planting their feet on these sites. They're not looking to rotate out just yet, and I don't think they really need to do so, especially with the Hunter Shuri available, and especially now up 2 members. Bones gets caught off guard, pushing up towards mid. There's no answer, no response, and Take Flyte looking to grab a bit of control and hopefully can ride this momentum now into the pistol round as Denya dashes away after missing that shot. Needs to be wary of 2. He finds another, but on this side they go. There's the rotation from the ultimate that I was talking about, and now it's only a 1-player difference. That spike looking to be planted. Simple trying to stall it for as long as he can. But there's still enough time as they get that one down. Corralled on this side as Arctic has a 3K. Now it's all up to 1 to get it done here. It's all up to Simple. He has to find a way, some way, somehow, needs to find a 2K, especially before time runs out, and he's not able to do it. Arctic, the 14-year-old, comes up huge as Teal Team grab another round, now 8-4, and completely in the driver's seat here on map number 5.
Poetry right there, man. That is art. What you just saw, a 2v4 started and immediately just completely blew my mind. Osias, he had the spike, but he teleported right where our spectator is right now. And there's somebody watching. There's Bossy who's right there who could have theoretically got the kill. Look at this on the radar in the replay. If we can just real quick zoom in on that sucker. He teleported right in the middle, and yet he still got the kill. And then, of course, Arctic goes huge. He was definitely the hero, but I cannot get over this. How in the hell do they squeeze that one out? I haven't the slightest of ideas, but that is one of the most insane rounds in Valorant I have seen for a good while. And we're only halfway through map number 5, excuse me.
Yeah, only halfway through, as it's a 4-stack towards the A side, a 5-stack in response for the attacking side. Boot able to pick one up, but it's traded back almost immediately. Hot hands now to try and stop the plant. It is able to do so, but we're still back and forth. Bones somehow, some way is still alive, and Nerf finally sits him down. Now the kill through the wall, the right clicks like maniacs on this side, and the double kill. Simple, you madman with the shock dart to close things out. Now Ito, something that we needed to squeeze in there before we jumped into that round. It just happened too quickly. though this game is about the players, we're also worried about our viewers. Guys, make sure you are typing ! giveaway in the chat to try your hand at a 2021 Team Serenity jersey. Now, if you are the winner, you need to be in chat and you need to type in ! claim when the winner is announced, if that winner is you. That's ! claim to be able to claim your prize. So you gotta be here or else I'm taking your jersey home. Now, let's hop right back on into it. And this is very uncharacteristic. It's not a force. Something changed during the half. Something changed coming into game number 5 for Teal team, and they're just A-okay with playing conservative.
All quiet on the Western Front. They're waiting for them to walk into their stack. This is one insane gamble. It might be a gamble that's good for a couple of kills. Great angle clearing by Take Flyte. I was giving a lot of love to Teal team, but Take Flyte were incredible on the pistol. That was a 4 stack that they ran into, and yet they were still the victors and looked clean while doing it. And now they will be getting, again, their very handsome reward. Another round to their name, flawless one at that, and wow, they have now claimed their prize, that is for certain. They have been able to get 2 rounds, keep things incredibly competitive. As we enter the first rifle round, this is now, again, going to be that interesting dilemma. Do they force up? Do they try to at least bring one Phantom to the table? Boot has enough. Same story with Simple. Actually, most of these players, Bossy's the only exception who doesn't, but do they even bother? I mean, I think they need to go for the bonus at this point, but at the same time, you have so much momentum riding behind you. It's going to be so risky to actually get away with this one. I don't know. It's interesting dilemma, that's for sure, but keep your heads high. Maybe you can get away with this bonus round. God knows that's what Take Flyte need right now after that insane showing in half number 1.
Yeah, I really, really respect that save play as the spray comes down. Osias, unfortunately, not able to get anything done on the pushing team. Now, the shock darts go through, hopefully getting quite a bit of value. Only able to get a bit as the spike was planted. It's a 5v5, and yup, they have the lockdown on cue. They're going to push that one on out. The alarm bot as well. All of the utility thrown at this A site. And Denya throwing a wrench and things, taking down Bones. Now remember, down on this retake, they weren't able to scoot away fast enough. Somehow, some way, Teal team needed trying to get it done. There's the rifle beating out the Spectre. It's the 2v1, and Tyrell grabs the kill. Now with Bossy dead, things seem a bit more doable. Simple and Nerf, though, make me eat my words and make TS eat some rounds. As Nerf grabs another 7 is now dead, and Arctic is not long for this world. No more clutches for you, says Bood, as he gets wiped off the face of the earth by that Spike Denya to follow. At the end of the day, we inch closer to being tied up once more.
I'm loving how TF are just pathing all the way around the site. Again, they dealt with a huge issue right there. That lockdown, it wasn't quite the security that they were hoping for. Sure, it did them a good job at buying them some space, but they still had to maneuver and win all those fights convincingly, and they did it. They have been up to almost every single challenge that Teal team have thrown at them. They really are just the perfect grand finals opponent at the moment. This is why I was so happy to see Ascent. The first time we saw it, it was fantastic. The second time, it's somehow even better. However, again, we're basically just right past the halfway mark. There's still so much Valorant to be played, man.
Turn out.
There's a whole lot, and I mean, coming into game 5, I expect nothing less from these guys than to give their all. Teal team, though, need to figure it out on defense. This is where they've fallen flat in the past. Bossy not going to find too much through the smoke, but trying to keep everybody at bay over towards A main. Now picking up the spike. They lean towards this B site, and it's an eco round, but Seven's able to trade out some damage. Has the hot hands, has the blaze, so should be able to top himself off. And Tyrell is actually good for 1. That's a huge pickup. Unfortunately, no rifle to be had from a teammate. But Denya low on HP. Still doable here. 7 finally taken down. He was low, so that was that was gonna happen no matter what. And again, it is a pistol round, as those shock darts go just a bit wide. And being able to play, unfortunately, Bones not able to get away, but being able to plant off of sight like that, not planting default, has been so huge, especially for Take Flyte, to dodge out on those shock darts. Every time they mix it up so that way they're not taking that extra damage. Now at the end of the day, it's another save round. You have to just send it. You don't want that lower economy, so Osias, he's just going to jump right on into the fray. It's not a flawless victory, but pretty darn close as Take Flight only lost one. And now it looks like they're in the driver's seat quite a bit. They won the first rifle round. They won the 3 all around it. Now they're looking to do that again. Bonzo, he's got himself an operator. Somehow, some way, they managed to eke out the credits. Unfortunately, it's Glass Cannon.
Glass Cannon, yeah. Wow, this is a heavy investment. They have incredibly high hopes for Bones to deliver with this one. I want to keep an eye on his camera because his early moves are really going to decide how this round works out for Teal Seam. My goodness, that was a surprisingly hard sentence to say. And Bossy has just been sentenced to death, man. God, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Now Teal Seam, if they miss that shot, if they lost a player, you're going to see some quick rotations coming over. If they didn't even die, but they missed the shot, you're probably going to see only one player come over. Now they have the kill. They can keep their setup just perfect. They've completely deserted the B bomb site. They'll play retake because they have a lockdown available. Teal Seam, look, you're mentioning how Take Flight were in the driver's seat, but this round, for sure, I have to say the opposition have been doing a phenomenal job at keeping control of this early game. Take Flight, they do get the spike down, and they will take the site for itself. But now, here comes the difficult part.
Yeah, it gets a little easier with that lockdown, trying to clear things out. Nerf going to equalize things as far as manpower goes. Unfortunately, it's just not really where they need to be with that spike planted over towards this B side. He's going to be one of the last remaining, trying to bring up the rear. So it's a 2v2. No, a 2v1 on this site and 1 on the flank. Now Osias just doesn't have the crosshair placement, and that is the ultimate caster curse from Ito. Round of applause.
Wow, that is next level. I don't think I've ever caster cursed something that bad. That was next level. That was the best chance that Teal Seam had so far, too. It started out with a pick in their favor, and then they also had the lockdown. They had a complete and utter they had all the clues for where to rotate, and yet you would never be able to tell. It's time for them to call a pause, a tactical at that. I don't think now is a bad time whatsoever. I mean, what a strange series of events that has been. I'm not going to lie. I thought Teal Seam for sure had that one in the bag, but now they don't have any bag whatsoever. I'm not sure if you got to see the scoreboard before we headed to our faces, but they have nothing to work with. That $5,000 investment, my God, man, they invested in Kmart or something like that. It just went way down the drain.
Yeah. Hey, Kmart, it had its purposes. It lived a good life back when it did. Yeah, still very close, yeah. But those are tough spots to be in. Now we're going to find ourselves on another eco round, and it's that paradox, right? With Teal Seam not winning rounds, they're going to go back and forth between rifle and eco. Eventually, maybe with that loss bonus being higher, they can squeeze in 2 rifle rounds or try and scrounge up 2 rifle rounds, but it feels really bad. And again, defense is kind of where they've been lackluster, and it's because you can't be all that aggressive. I would love to see some type of aggression, right? Maybe peeking in with the owl drone, or just dual peeking, pushing through B main, getting aggressive like that. We saw Bossy queue up that flashbang, the curveball into B main over and over. And one time, he didn't get much value outside of killing the turret. The other time we saw it, he ended up dying. But at the very least, he's still trying to push the envelope. And then at the end of the half, he actually pushed on through and picked up an early kill, which led to a round win. So the aggression is what I would love to see on the defensive side. Now, more importantly, I want to jump back, and we love our players. I need to touch the viewers here once more with the giveaway. I just want to correct everything that I had said before. You do have to type in !claim, and you have 5 minutes to do so in chat. If you don't type !claim, you're going to get a DM regardless. So you don't necessarily have to be here, but we want you to be here. So make sure you're here to hear our voices and here to see if you did win that 2021 Team Serenity jersey. As you're here watching the Serenity Invitational, we're back online. And we need to see, was that tactical pause enough to halt the onslaught? That is Take Flight. Has Teal Seam figured it out? We get to find out right here in this round. 9-8, the scoreline. Looking to tie things up, and defense hasn't been great for him.
It has been an onslaught from Take Flight. By all means, they are right back in the driver's seat, like you mentioned previously. It's going to be all up to Teal Seam, you know? Again, you have to hope that this tactical pause actually amounted to something. And what you're seeing is a much slower approach. They've kept the bomb in their own spawn. They've taken very heavy control of Catwalk, and they're going to have their Phoenix actually running in right behind that drone. So it's not actually coming from the defenders rather. It's coming from the aggressors, that drone play that you wanted to see. Here comes actually a push on through towards B. They have taken Market under siege, and they're ready to bring the cavalry towards the B bomb site. Now, the spike needs to go down, play from there if you want, but still, things are going to be incredibly difficult, even if you get that far. There's a run it back available for Teal Seam. I mean, look, they haven't had the best luck on these retakes. Maybe it should be easy for Take Flight, but anything could happen, man, and here it comes.
Anything can happen. An early kill, but Denya trades it back now. Knives for knives. Bones still alive. The right click and a miss. Arctic goes good with the Sheriff. Teal Seam trying to inch one out in an eco round. Denya and Bones narrowly miss each other, and from downtown, they turn it around. Now Bood, the last remaining, and once more running out of time. The alarm bot is there. The turret on top of it all. Bones, you just got to send it for the defuse, and he just doesn't have it. Doesn't have the kill. Doesn't have the time. Doesn't have the defuse, and Take Flight will find themselves in double digits, inching closer to a victory. It was an eco round, but it looked so winnable there for a moment.
It really did. I mean, for a while, you would hedge your bets on them being able to win it. It was just a series of unfortunate events. We saw the storyline of Bones and the trials and tribulations that he went through as he snuck through B main. He had this unfortunate meeting in the Isle with Denya as they crossed paths, but they didn't actually see each other. Again, something I always want to bring up. How different could that round have been if Bones actually was able to find that kill into Denya? We might be seeing a completely different scoreline. We might be seeing 9-9. But for now, it is indeed double digits for Take Flight. A quick play once more from Take Flight to take the B bomb site. But right now, we're just talking about taking. Let's see how Teal Seam can hold.
Swarm grenade out.
Swarm grenade pop. Tyrell now holding it down on this B site. This is a player that we need to pay attention to throughout the remainder of this game. This spike now being brought up from the rear, and Bood has completely assumed this site, but it's not safe just yet. Market gonna get smoked off. They are watching their flank, so doing their due diligence. A nice shrouded step, but a little bit of damage traded out. Teal Seam, a member up, but they're not out of the woodworks just yet. Their retake has been lackluster, to say the least, and Denya is postured nice and pretty in a position we have seen before. Over towards B main. He is going to creep on up. A cloud burst to try and sneak away to get with his team. He's able to find one kill. He's able to get away, and Simple picks up two. Now Arctic evens the odds with a kill on the ultimate. The Hunter's Fury getting quite a bit of value. They look to fake the defuse. The Hunter's Fury in return. Simple picks up a third. Can he make it a fourth? No, it's Denya to close things out. The dynamic duo. And Take Flight grab round 11.
Simple. Look, I know he got 3 kills, but that wasn't even the sickest play he made, if he can somehow believe it. Did you see that recon dart that went over towards site? Man, it was a whole music festival on the site with a dink, dink, dink. He just kept on pinging people. He was able to shoot them through the walls. That's a fight that you're not going to be able to win. Teal Seam have been completely shut down. It's now 7 rounds in a row. This map has been a shutout. On the attacking side, Take Flight have not only taken flight, but they're moving at 1,000 miles per hour. Quick takes, fantastic, phenomenal post plants, and absolutely nothing that Teal Seam can do in response. The defenders have been constantly having to concede space, concede everything, and what they have to show for it is a big goose egg of rounds on the defensive end. Tanner, this might be the beginning of the end. 2 more away from Take Flight being able to take that $1,000, take the championship, and take my breath away. That is for sure. However, it's not done yet. Teal Seam have been incredibly scary, incredibly lethal, but I don't think it can happen here. They don't have the right read on the situation. There's going to be 4 players entering now towards the A bomb site, and only an Omen and Phoenix to go ahead and greet them out the door.
And now the slower starts once more. A couple of kills traded back and forth. It's going to be a 4v4 as they try and creep onto this A site. Osias might be able to grab a flank, but that door has been closed. 7 is here. Finds the dink through the box. Not able to find the kill, but some damage overall. Now Denya in a bad spot, but he's able to get away. 11 HP. Everybody low here. Osias picks one up. The spike's still going to go down, but a very winnable round and an important one as the economy is absolutely dog water here for Teal team. Arctic through the wall is going to pick one up. Osias grabs another, and it's the 11 HP that I previously mentioned. He's got one shot in the op, and that's all he needs. Now forced to reload. Time left on the clock. He's going to get the reload off. He tries to take a shot through the smoke. He's going to whip narrowly. He's going to peek again. Denya goes clutch. 11 HP is 10 more than he needs, and now we are on match point.
I cannot believe how Denya is getting away with this sheer and utter robbery, man. 8 rounds in a row. It's been all red. Look at this. Denya has 1 bullet and then the absolute cojones. He just sits there. He's like, okay, no, I'm going to do this 5-second reload. The teammates are pinging the bomb. He hits the leg shot. He doesn't even know it. So he goes for another full shot. This man could have sprayed with a classic and still had it go the same way. Absolute absurdity from Take Flyte. It's backs against the wall. Teal team, they're trying their darndest, but I think it's just about done. Tanner, take us away, because I think this is going to be a stylish finish, a flawless finish for Take Flyte.
It's looking to be that way as 2 early kills. Once more aggression punished on the defensive side. Osias still alive. Osias not for this world much longer as he falls to Bood. Now Tyrell surely should find himself in a 1v1 with the opposition. He's going to creep on out towards Catwalk. Needs to do his due diligence to clear out the flank. Will take down the turret. No ults available. Very minimal utility. It's all up to Tyrell. He's not going to be able to get it done inside the tree room. You called it, Ito. It is a flawless victory, and Take Flyte snatch away the $1,000 winner takes all prize.
And how this game started as well. It was a shutout on split from Teal team. It was a shutout on basically every other map. I mean, I don't even know. It was a shutout basically all the time, man, from either side. But at the end of the day, we found out who has the better stamina, who can last the longest in this marathon of Valorant, and the answer is going to be Take Flyte. They are your champions, and my lord, did they deserve it. They've played 8 maps of Valorant today and looked phenomenal for, well, at least 5 of them, let's be honest here. I don't even know how they do it, man.
Man, you know, this is tough. This is a tournament where no matter how far you get, if you lose, it hurts. But I will say, first and foremost, congratulations. Take Flyte being able to snake that one out. 5 games, an incredibly long day. Yesterday, a long day as well. And they're able to inch it out at the end in dominant fashion. I'm pretty sure they won every single round on attack. They didn't lose a single round coming into that one. So they really just stepped on the throats. So hats off to those guys. Now the youngsters.
Right.
Wow. I'm surprised, or I'm excited to see that Take Flyte did so well. But this young team, 18 and under for Teal team, making it this far in one of very few showings as a team. Hats off to them as a whole. Obviously, great prospects coming up in the scene. Unfortunately, there can be only one winner, and it's $1,000 in the pocket here in the Serenity Invitational. Headed on over to Take Flyte. Wow, absolutely insane. It's a tough way to go out, but I think if you made it this far, especially if you're Teal team, you can't be hanging your head.
You can't. Think about how they got here in the first place as well. We saw that bracket graphic a lot earlier, but they had some incredible wins over Sedated and Phoenix 1, 2 very established teams, mind you, in the Tier 2/Tier 3 scene. Starting out the new year, 2021, with a 2nd place finish. Sure, you don't collect the bag, but you have definitely collected my attention, and I hope everybody else's. This is a team of incredible players, incredible prospects, and I hope to see some of these players in the future. Even if this is a mixed team, even if they don't stick together, I want to see more of them. so many amazing spots. But hey, look, I'm not sure if I should keep giving all this attention to Teal Seam. At the end of the day, they lost. It was Take Flight who took my breath away. Incredible performances. Big ups to Nerf for coming in on day number 2 and rocking it. But I mean, I feel like everybody had their time in the limelight. Everybody had an incredible play or two. There's Denya, who I think closed it out, capped it off, really kind of drew that final nail into the coffin. God, what a great game of Valorant that was, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, a great weekend, right? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what anybody was expecting for, a 16 round or 16 team tournament starting in the round of 16. It's a winner take all. It's a little bit different. I'm not sure how many Serenity Invitationals there have been, but I mean, what a performance. Every team that was invited to this one came out and showed up 100%. And I mean, I couldn't be more proud of basically the Valorant scene in 2021, kicking things off in such a phenomenal way. And a huge shout out to Team Serenity for having us on and putting this on. The show was just fantastic. I'm actually going to have to go back and look at the secondary, the B stream from today to see how the casters did over there. See if they did me proud in Glorans and Bumpa. Now, with that being said, we had a whole lot of gameplay. We had a whole lot of love. We had a whole lot of plays and games and rounds, and it was fantastic. We love Valorant, but more importantly, we love winning things. And the winner of this giveaway is Lucid Zera. So if you are in the chat, make sure you hit that exclamation point claim. Nobody else do it because you will get banned. And then a DM should be coming your way so you can secure the bag on that 2021 Team Serenity jersey. And now I'm sad that I didn't get one, Ito. So I promise, or I'm honestly probably going to go buy one because I love the color purple. So the black and purple,
oh yeah,
clean.
Well, hey, I can't wait to see you rock it in between, your fancy suits and, that, what is that, a Henley shirt? I forgot what those are exactly called. But either way more stylish than I am just walking up with a t-shirt. It was a stylish way to end the series as well. Phenomenal play from Take Flight. They were out for vengeance in those last 2 maps, by the way, I want to say. But do you have any final thoughts to wrap up this tournament as a whole? I also want to give one quick shout out, actually, before I toss it over to you. Huge shout outs to, first off, the production, the observers. Everybody involved was amazing. And that is Great Lakes Gaming. They have put on this show for us. But also, really big shout out to Keglunek because he came in for the semifinals and he rocked it as well. I mean, seriously, thank you to everybody at Great Lakes Gaming for making this happen. Keglunek for coming in clutch and filling in last possible moment. And Team Serenity, of course, for making everything run smooth. Now, I'm going to give the mic over to you here, even though I guess we're both sharing it. What are your final thoughts? What are your shout-outs? And finish us out, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered it as far as shout-outs go. The production team, phenomenal. The observing, phenomenal. Only great things to say. GLG, hats off to you guys, making sure that this show happened and making it look pretty. And a huge shout out to Team Serenity. It is not easy to put a tournament like this together. It is not easy to put the teams together, have everybody show up, make it all happen, and have a fantastic day of Valorant. Now, with the shout outs being said, a huge hats off to all the teams that participated in this one. We look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Unfortunately, for the Serenity Invitational, that closes things out for us. So on behalf of myself, Ito, the entire production team, and Team Serenity, we want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.